the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Gretchen Young, welcome back. We were just talking 2019.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it's been that long.
I know.
A whole freaking pandemic and everything, and then now we're neighbors, which is wonderful.
I know.
But yeah, you were telling me you were like, it was when you were doing the bus shows, and you're just, first of all, you're just always doing something, Gretchen.
I'm a busybody.
Always.
Always.
Because I thought you were busy back then, and it's like you've been leveling up over and over and over. And like this whole latest string of shows, that's why I reached out. I was like, Jesus. I was like, you're hitting this crazy stride right now. And not only are you just kind of like everywhere, but these venues are beautiful.
They are. I have a great.
Pull that a little closer. Sit a little. Sorry.
Oh yeah. How's that? Better?
Yeah, I'm going to tilt this up right like that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love the venues that I'm at right now. I definitely. I mean, I'm glad that I keep getting better. Right?
Yeah. No, it looks incredible. Yeah. The one I really want to go check out is I just had it. The one with the lights around the stage, Harvest Hall.
Harvest Hall.
Yeah. What is that place?
It's an amazing. Okay, so Hotel Ven. It's Harvest Hall is like an event space.
This is in Grapevine, right?
This is in Grapevine, like 5 minutes from DFW Airport. Mm-hmm. I love this venue. It's honestly one of my favorites that I've ever worked with. Mm-hmm. So Harvest Hall it's a food hall. Right, but they also have a theater inside of it that seats. It's closed off from the
food hall. Like, have you seen the one down by Deep Ellum? Is it like that down by like the farmers market? Like, is it a bunch of food vendors in there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of different food kiosks. Right.
Gotcha.
And that is attached to Hotel Ven, so it's like a 4 or 5 star hotel. Right there, it's amazing, and then it's got this beautiful food hall, and then in the food hall, in a separate space, is a theater, a great theater, seats like 120 people.
Yeah, that's what was kind of intriguing because it looks incredible, but it doesn't look huge.
It's not.
You know, it looks like you can fill it up. You know,
you can totally fill it up.
Yeah. And it's the first venue I've seen in a while where I've thought, because, you know, like all you comics, you tell me a great venue, it's like low ceilings. That one I feel like it is going to challenge that trope or whatever, because it just looks so good. It's like, I've never really felt like the high ceiling is a make or break deal. It's more about like, how is the rest of your venue set up around that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, they've got these really heavy, I understand that low ceiling thing. I mean, it is, you know, it's nice to have any noise can radiate off of, right? Mm-hmm. But this one's good because they've got really heavy curtains all around, you know. I think the sound is amazing. It's kind of like Comedy Arena, Mic Drop now, where the sound is really great for the audience. Mm-hmm. For us on stage, I don't know if it's like the speakers are pointed away. It's a little quiet on stage.
Oh, okay.
So you can like see people laughing, but for some reason it's not as loud. But then if you were in the audience, it's like way louder.
Oh, so you're not actually hearing the laughs sometimes.
Sometimes you can kind of see. It's not pitch black in there, so you can see people. I mean, it's a challenging room in that, like, it's not challenging in that, you know, the stage is awesome, the sound is awesome. The Harvest Hall makes it super. I mean, we have a great budget, so I can pay everyone well. They get drink tickets. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But hotel crowds are weird. I mean, hotels always pay well, and they've got the weirdest crowds.
So is it a lot of hotel residents? I mean, not residents, but people staying at the hotels?
Sometimes, but, you know, at least half of it is just residents of Grapevine.
Okay.
And so, like,
what do you think makes it weird? What do you mean? You know what it's making me think of when you said that? Do you remember the back door that was a DoubleTree?
Yes.
Did you perform there?
I never performed, but I went.
Okay, yeah. So is it like that, where it's just kind of an odd space and an odd, or what do you mean?
I think it's like I think when people are going to hotels, like maybe they're tired or they're, you know, whatever, and they're just coming to this thing that they figured out was at the hotel, right?
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, sometimes they're just, I really can't put my finger on it, because sometimes it's just residents, and they come and, like, I'll see people there that won't laugh, but they come to almost every show.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
I get that though, because now I've watched so much comedy that I have to remind myself sometimes to like put on a smile.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm going, that's hilarious. That's funny. That's so good. And anytime we're sitting near the stage, I have to remember, like, you need to throw on you need to let them know that you feel this way, not just in your mind. I think part of it is just streaming. Like, we're so used to watching comedy specials on Netflix in our home now, Hulu. everybody's putting out specials now. I don't think you do that crazy comedy club laughter in your living room.
No.
So if that's all the comedy you've ever watched, maybe to them it feels like they're watching a TV screen, even though they're in person. Maybe it's just that new for them.
Well, and I think that it's one of those things where a lot of the people that go to the Grapevine shows, and honestly, I find this at a lot of my shows. Period. It's their first comedy show, but especially in a place like Grapevine that doesn't have an actual comedy club.
Yeah,
they're going to Harvest Hall for their comedy night.
That's why I like that you're putting these shows on out there, because I feel like DFW is hitting this weird zone right now. We're getting all these people moving in.
Yeah.
They can't all go Dallas, Fort Worth proper for those comedy scenes. And then, as you know, it's like you've got Comedy Arena, Mic Drop, these places up north. And there's just this huge triangle of stuff in between all of that. And I get real excited about just, who are we not hearing yet that might be super funny from those areas that are going to start coming to your shows and thinking, I think I could do stand up. And maybe that's their introduction to comedy and starting to hit open mics and things. I don't know. Have you had any people in those areas reach out yet about like, I think I want to do this?
I do. And I send that Google list of mics. That's, I'm sending that to people all the time. Because with Harvest Hall, they put quite a bit into marketing. So I'm setting those lineups minimum 90 days out.
No, I don't mean for your shows. Just in general, like, are you seeing that interest now from that? Yeah, I mean, DFW is so huge. It's like, how many comics are out there that don't know comics yet?
Dude. So, I mean, just the amount of people who have just started comedy since COVID, it's crazy.
It's blown me away because the first time you were on, I was still very new to just even watching this scene, just knowing the spots to go watch comedy. Now I've seen like a couple classes of people coming through, I guess, each year or each 6 months, even the new people that come through. It's pretty wild how many people start. And what's crazier is how many people actually stick with it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's wild.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with our scene. Like, we have a really, really friendly scene, right? Like, I've traveled the country doing comedy, and I don't know, maybe I'm just partial because I live here and everybody's nice to me because I produce a lot of shows, but...
There's probably some of that, but not 100%. All of that, yeah.
But they... Like, I don't know, I find it very welcoming. Like, I'll see someone who just starts off at a mic and then, oh my gosh, like 2 months later, they've got a whole friend group. You know what I mean? And they're all going to mics together. It's like you start seeing people find their packs. Yeah,
there's a lot of clicks. For better or worse, a lot of clicks. You know what I still think about? I still think about watching Grady Pruitt at your Rawson Hall open mic.
I love him.
He's so good.
He's so funny.
And that was like the first time I'd ever seen him. So to see a comic that good at, is it even Rawson Hall anymore?
No, I think it's
changed. It's probably been 3 bars since then.
It's been 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now, but yeah. That was a great room, though. I mean, they couldn't get the sound under control, but
yeah.
That's what sucks is like when you have like such a great, beautiful space that can hold it and they just can't get there.
But I've noticed you have a knack for finding the beautiful spaces, right?
Yeah.
What is your process when you're like, this place needs, or I need to use this room? Like, do you seek it out, or is it just a place that you happen to go to, or both? Or
well, I've been lucky in that a lot of things have come to me. You know, I feel very blessed being able to say that, right? But
because real quick, what's the other one that's in the beautiful Statler?
Yeah, Bourbon and Banter.
Yeah, it's another beautiful place.
Yeah, I can't even believe I've been there as long as I have been. Because I'm going on like 2.5 years that I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's what's good. I mean, like, I like holding on to clients, right? Like, I don't want to... Very rarely do I do a one-off show unless it's a corporate event, right? I'm 3-show minimum, that sort of thing, just to make the investment worth it, you know?
Yeah. So how did you go about finding these other rooms, though? Do you remember how you found the Statler? Were you just drinking there thinking, we should do comedy?
No, actually, I didn't think it was going to work. Basically, someone posted on Facebook, one of the old GMs there said, does anybody know someone who does this? And like 10 people tagged me. And that's how I got it.
Wow.
That's how I get a lot of gigs. But that's because I have a good reputation. You know what I mean? And how I got that reputation was just keeping going with it. You know, some of these people who refer me have never been to a show of mine. They just know me and like me and refer me and assume it's good quality. And luckily it is.
No, it definitely is. I mean, for years, your lineups have consistently been so solid. You know, it's like I'll say it. You know, I see those people who it's not a dumb move, but they'll start producing shows because maybe they're struggling to get booked or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, that's a clever way. Like, do your thing if you want to put on some shows.
That's why I
get
started.
Yeah, that's great. But then you see them make that mistake of, you know, they're just really not curating it as well as they should. They want their friends on who are also starting comedy, and it just goes south fast, you know?
It's very hard to be a good producer. And, you know, being a producer, as long as I have had to keep, I keep a lot of people at an arm's length, right? They never really can get that close because I'm always kind of like, you know, not because I want to be cold or whatever, but I'm busy and, you know, I'm not going to just put you on to put you on.
Yeah. Well, how do you you were talking about, like, are people just nice to you because they want to get on a show? How do you navigate that when you're working on your own comedy, right? You're working on your own comedy career as a comic, but you also have this knack for booking shows and you want to be a producer because there's a comic, you know, I'll tell you afterwards. You know, I was talking to them about, they live in a kind of a more obscure area. And I was like, they were talking about, we could use a club up here. I was like, why don't you do that? You know, like, why don't you find, this person has kind of like a sales background. They know how to go talk to people professionally. I was like, you could find investors. You're the type of person that you could find an investor because you know how to play this professional game and you know that they need to make money if you're going to take money from them. And you're not just going to be like, I got a great idea, you know? And they were like, their main sentiment was, yeah, I don't know, man. If I want to be a comic, and if I open a club, I'll be a club owner, you know, and they won't view me that way anymore. It's like, so how do you balance that just as a show producer, which is pretty close to what they said, you know?
I battle with that all the time, honestly. Like, I had a pretty big identity crisis in about 2022, some of 2023, where I was like, okay, I'm a good performer and I'm a good producer. I'm probably never going to be great at either of them if I'm doing both. And because it's just two different brains, right? And I ultimately, what I've decided right now is, you know, this chapter of my life, like, I am just so hell bent on not being an employee again that I'm, you know, producing is my main bread and butter. And I perform, like, I can't put myself on all the shows, but honestly, because of the brain power that it takes, and because when you're a performer, you've got to be, you just got to be in that realm, right?
I see.
And that energy, whereas like one is creative, one is like task oriented, you know, two different brains. But yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to swallow because that's how I started. I couldn't get booked anywhere. I mean, this is like 2016, 2015. I had to go out of town. I would just do festivals, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? And at this time, I think that there were only like maybe 5 open mics in the whole city.
Wow.
Those were the only ones I knew. And they were all at the clubs, right? And there were all these people that had seniority. Anyway, I just started a mic. And for the first 5 weeks, only 5 comics came. And then after that, like 40 people came. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, okay. And then that shut down. And then I was like, well, that was kind of fun. I'll do it again. And do it again. Now here we are. You know, I've had like, I don't know, probably like 20 open mics. Not really. Probably more like 15.
But I've noticed the open mics you provide in the past, especially, it does fill this void, right? Because the amount of comics I've even had on here where they talk about going to, like, they started at the big Dallas Hyenas open mic, where it's like you sign up, you're hoping to go on by midnight, maybe you're there till 2 a.m. And I don't know what it's like these days, but they're talking about, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And, you know, that's got to be so intimidating for people who it's like, I got a job. I can't just be here for 5 hours and wonder when I'm going to go up, if I'm going to go up. And so at least those open mics like yours, you know, you can get time. You know, you can work on it. It's like an even earlier stage than that club open mic, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but I think that does come with, like, that's got to be the hard sell to those bars and stuff, right?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's like that. I mean, the grind is real. Like, this is not for the faint of heart. You have to really want this.
Yeah.
I mean, this this year is the first year I've been able to do this full time. Before
Congratulations.
this, thank you. I'm
That's
barely
huge.
doing it, but
Well, I didn't know you were doing it full time, which is just, that's incredible.
Honestly, it was just kind of it was just like almost it was just a thing. I was trying to get another job. Like I'd gotten laid off, which was great. I was already going to quit that job anyway. But I was like, you know what? I'm burnt out. I'm just going to take a little bit of time off. But then it was like, all right, I'm getting married in 3 months. I'm just going to kind of focus on this. Things are a little crazy with the wedding and all that. And then afterwards, it was an election year. And I don't know if you've ever tried getting a job in an election year. Don't recommend it.
That's a thing?
Dude, I didn't know this, but yeah, it's
weird.
a thing. Everyone starts like...
So they're just worried about what's going to happen to their business and their income, so they kind of put a freeze on hiring? Is that the idea?
Yeah,
or?
it was like just all of a sudden there weren't very many jobs out there.
Huh. That's strange. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of worried. Well, especially the elections recently where it's so heated and polarized and everybody says the country's going to burn down a different way, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so you were holding off. So you got married, then looking for a job, but it wasn't working.
Well, and so during this time, I was like, all right, it's going to be the election year for the next 3 months. Like, I might as well just get my ducks in a row. And it's like, all right, I need to make a website because I was doing all this stuff, very much so treating it like a job, but it was a little bit unorganized, right?
Okay.
And so I just kind of got my ducks in a row. And so that way, when I got a job, I'd be ready. We'd have everything. And then, I don't know, got a couple corporate gigs and I got a couple regular clients. And now I'm just, taking the plunge.
That's
and
awesome.
Since I've taken the plunge, it's continuing to work out.
Yeah. So many people say that's what you have to do, though. It's like you got to get rid of that
You got
safety
to do it
net.
when you're ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did, I had some savings and and it's still really scary. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's so relaxed. This is my only thing. And if anything, like, I'm like more stressed out because I'm working for myself. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I'm not the best boss. So
Well, how many spots are you working with now? Because I've seen the Bourbon and Banter at the Statler, Harvest Hall.
I've got Herman Marshall whiskey
in
in Wiley,
Texas. That's where I'm from, is out that way.
Really?
Yeah, so I grew up north of there in these little towns, Nevada and Copeville, which are, if you keep going down Highway 78 out of Wiley, and you just go for like another probably like 20 minutes, it's out that way.
Nice.
Yeah, which first of all, I didn't know that whiskey brand had a distillery over there, or a room, whatever they call it. And
the distillery is at a different place, but it's like a tasting room is what they call it.
Yeah, it's their version of a tap room, but it's not beer, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I know Wiley's blown up. It's just I was so close to that town growing up my whole life that I'd really never ever want to go back out there again.
Well,
you know what I mean? And it's nothing to do with them. It's just like when you leave home, you don't want to go back.
Exactly.
And but I saw that and I was like, I might have to take a drive to Wiley now and just check it out. Yeah, just for all of it, to see how much the city's changed. I love that whiskey, so to check out the tasting room and everything, but just to see how Wiley is responding to comedy shows. Because again, growing up out in those small towns in that area, which are much bigger now, obviously, those areas are full of fucking funny people.
Dude,
funny people.
As soon
they
as
don't
I
even know they're funny sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
And so knowing that they're getting comedy shows and that might spawn another comic who we've never heard of, and all of a sudden we've just got this other killer in the DFW area. It's like, hell yeah, keep doing that. But how many shows have you got to do there so far?
It's been monthly. I think we've had 4. We've had to reschedule 2 of them just because, just issues with the venue or, whatever. Or like they didn't, one time we had a show that, because that area is surrounded by, I think it's like 4 or 5 different really big high schools, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And on graduation weekend, they all did their graduation on the same weekend. So they were like, let's just switch it out.
It's just dead. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm literally old enough now to be like, I remember when there were no stoplights on that stretch of Highway 78.
Wow.
So fucking old now. But literally, like, you could drive all the way almost to, I guess it was Saxe or Garland before you hit a red light. And to see what it's developed into now is just insane.
Totally different.
Yeah. The amount of times we went to a high school party and drank too much and someone drove us back when they shouldn't have, and going down that road. Now, if you did, it would be instantly pulled over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of cops around there.
That's incredible. How'd you get hooked up with something out there?
A friend of mine owns the bar.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, and they were just like, hey, we want to do something different in here. They got a great upstairs space, event space. And luckily, all these places have good budgets, so I can get good people and I can pay them right,
Isn't that weird, though, that all of a sudden these places are seeing the value in a comedy night? That they're willing to invest a budget in it? It's kind of unique how much that's happening.
Well, and they, when I first started, I remember there was that saying, it's like, comedy's the last thing a bar sees before it dies. But now it's like, people are investing and they...
What do you think the change is?
Honestly...
Because you've seen it for, what did you say, 2016?
Yeah.
So almost 10 years now that you've been producing shows at these different areas. So to go from a saying like that to a well-established whiskey brand in a small town going like, I think we have a good budget for this and this would be good for our bar.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the change is?
Honestly, a couple things. I think that this influx of cities that have regular comedy like New York and LA, just people coming to Texas, I think that there's more of a want for it. But I think a lot of things changed when Joe Rogan moved here. Joe Rogan and all those things, while I don't necessarily resonate with that style of comedy, it's been very beneficial, him being here and, the Kill Tony guys and all that stuff. It's been beneficial. There's tons of people moving here. And we've got so many comedy clubs here in DFW, more than your average city. And so, I think those are the two shifts, is that we're getting people who are used to it flocking here. And now that, all that's popping off in Austin, I think people are hearing about it.
Yeah. I'm hoping, the shows you're doing, the guys up in Plano doing Cowabunga, and
I love them.
Yes. Yeah. But there's these veterans of the scene like yourself now who, it's like you've kind of been through that old form. Now you're doing your own thing, the way you'd like to. And we don't have to talk about them specifically, but some of these clubs, it's like, I'm hoping they start to feel a little of this pressure of like, how are these indie shows putting on better shows than a well-established club? Because it's like I went to a show Friday night. It was an incredible, well-established headliner. And it would be easy to say that like, oh, it was the Friday late show. And that's a tough crowd. And it's like, yeah, that is a tough crowd. But this was a person who was killing. And it's like, was it because it was a tough crowd? Or is it because that like this room hasn't been updated in how long, and like this place looks run down? It's like, can we throw a coat of paint on? Can we reinvest into this a little bit? And like, why does it feel so sad to come watch comedy here when it should feel exciting and like a fun night out? You know what I mean? Yeah,
I just think sometimes these old school club owners, like, they just want to, they just stick with what, sometimes it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks,
I guess.
But they're not that new. Like, so for me, like, I base everything off of like comfortable. How comfortable are people? Like, that's the vibe. Like, that's my innate God-given gift, as I can create the vibe. And what I want is comfortable. They just want to spend money. They want to stay longer. It's just that sort of thing. And to, most of these people that I have on my, they're known around here, but, nobody else knows them.
Right.
And I'm still putting on a killer show, and I don't know. I think that's, I like, and I work with the clubs too.
Yeah.
I love being there on the off nights, all of that. But yeah, I mean, it is nice going in, usually these independent places, they'll pay more than the clubs. And
which is a crazy thing to say, right? Knowing how much those clubs can bring in.
Yes.
And hearing all of the rumors of how pay has not changed for so long for people. And it just comes back to, you've got to invest in the comics as much as the comics need to respect the clubs. You definitely need to respect that that's a club stage, and there's probably some dues you need to pay to get there. There's some things you need to get done. But also, once you have that opportunity, I mean, wouldn't it be better to pay them a little more so then they feel like, damn, this is what I made just now?
Yeah.
And if I get better, I can keep making this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, all right. Because, I don't know, it's like you got to invest in the spots down here if you want them to keep coming.
Yeah.
If you want the killers to keep coming up to your club, and the one in particular, you're just like, this could be the best club in the city. I know you know the one I'm talking about, right? You don't have to say it, but
I think
anyway,
so.
it's like this could be the best one. Minor changes.
Oh, yes.
Minor changes would make this the top one. And there's just no way to communicate that without sounding like, I don't know that person anyway who owns it, but if you did try to communicate to them, you just sound like a prick, you know? But it would be true. It's like, hey, small investment would, and I would love to talk to them and be like, are you just satisfied because the check that's coming through is good? And so, or can you like find that fire? Like, do you love comedy? Like, don't you love putting on these fun shows for people and watching people come in this place and light up and think like that was incredible? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's the vibe that these more independent shows that y'all are putting on create, where people are like, this is an exciting night. Mm-hmm. This is a fun night.
Yeah.
This was a fun Friday night choice or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think some of the bigger spots are losing that magic for various reasons. You know, but it's like you got to tap into it. You got to find it somehow.
Yeah, I think that when that happens, it's because, you know, the owner has lost their passion for it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like pride that I have from my shows. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into my lineups. I'm very meticulous when it comes to, you know, who I'm placing with who, and I think that's why my shows are great, is because I put a lot into it. I mean, it's my passion. What's
the part that excites you the most, though? Because it is a lot of hard work for not a lot of reward. So, like, what is the part where you're like, that happened tonight, so that was worth it?
Having a diverse vibe, but also I like get off to paying people well. You know, I know that sounds crazy, but like I'm the last one to get paid. And, you know, I got this idea.
You just want to be this sugar mom. It's like, you get some money.
Yeah, exactly. But I am very passionate about, I feel that like my goal right now is to create a middle class of comedy, right? And because it's like you're either rolling in it or in the red.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent here. Like there's no reason why... I mean, I just feel like there's no reason why someone like Des O'Neill shouldn't be making like $60,000 a year in comedy.
A reasonable middle class income.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would love to, there's just several people here. Like we shouldn't have to leave because it's like we have, and I'm a big fan of people going to other markets. And, you know, if you want to go to New York or LA or Chicago or some place different than here, that's fine. But it's like, retaining these comics, like keeping them here, like that's what I want.
Have you met this he's about to move, but he's a really young guy, does a lot of work in Fort Worth, George Brown. Have you heard of him? He was just on the show.
Of him, but I don't know him.
It was fascinating. He's like a year in. He's like brand new.
That's nice.
But he's one of those where he's more comfortable on stage than he should be for a year in a good way. Like he seems to, he's understanding it a year in very well. And so even though he knows he's working on material, it's like you see these early forms of like, if this guy stays at it, he's going to be pretty good. You know,
it's a longevity game.
This is just material writing. But like the stage presence, he's already got some timing down. And the stuff he had was really funny, but he even had the self-awareness. Like he just graduated high school. So he started comedy at like 17 or 18. He's 19 now. And he's like, yeah, most of my stuff was about high school, so I have to get rid of it all, because I'm not in high school anymore. And he's like, and it's not that great anyway. I need to get rid of it. But he brought up a thing where someone he was talking to, the concept of in DFW, because people want to work at these clubs, it seems like they try to be a good MC or a good feature, but it's not in their brain that I need to become a great headliner.
It is a mindset, you know, like there's a lot of people that work, you know, sometimes I see people on lineups and I'm like, you're on that because you're safe. You know what I mean? Like that, you can make a lot of money if you're a safe comic. And just like you can work a lot just because a lot of times like the headliner doesn't want you funnier. Or if you're a feature and you're funnier than the headliner, you're probably not going to get booked for the rest of that weekend. And that sucks,
lame.
But it is lame. It's so lame.
Well, because you should have a comedy club owner who's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're worried about the feature? You're the traveling headliner.
Yeah, you're making the big bucks here.
Yeah.
Step it up. What are you telling me you're feeling insecure about this guy who's getting paid $50 or whatever?
Yeah. And so when he said that, it kind of really hit me. I was like, I think you're right. I think a lot of the people here, they don't even view that headliner spot as an option unless they're doing like an Anne Friends show at the Addison Improv or something. You know, that's a good headlining opportunity. Maybe DCC puts you on an off weekend or a Sunday night or something, which are great opportunities. I'm not bashing them. But I don't think they view themselves as like, I could write an hour.
Well, it is a mindset, and when you're going to be the headliner, like, I'm not saying don't take good paying smaller roles, but yeah, I think it was Steve Martin. I watched this, maybe he was on Howard Stern or something, but he was basically saying, I just decided one day I was going to be a headliner, and I didn't accept anything else. And I started reaching out to all these small clubs all over the U.S., and that's just what it was. He just decided he could do that, but he had already been getting, I think that if right, you got to know that you can be that.
Yeah.
And I think, being 17 and getting on stage, like that would be awesome if it's like at 17, like I was like way more free. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't so beaten down by life at that point. And so it's like, your brain's not totally developed. You're just crazy, you can just throw stuff off, you bounce up. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think like, the younger you start, maybe the easier it is. I don't know. I started when I was like 26. So maybe I was like 27.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see. He's making a move to he's going to California, but he's going for school, and he's like, I'm going to go for school, but I'm also going to do comedy while there. In his mind, he's like, school is my backup plan, but comedy is it. I was like, well, I hope something happens, but it was very, one, it was an interesting perspective of someone that new in the scene, but two, just someone that much younger. Because it's like my age gap was older than his actual age. You know what I mean? So it's just these new perspectives of, oh, okay. And you could tell he was seeing the like jaded, hardened exterior on people like us.
I know.
Of people giving him just horrible, bad advice because they're bitter and upset.
My God. You have to be so careful.
Yeah.
I try not to give like too much advice unless it's like glaring and it affected my show. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh, hey, let me just give you this little tidbit for next time. But yeah, I see a lot of people giving advice that they should not be. Yeah,
it's I get to hear like fly on the wall advice given a lot, which is very interesting. Because
I bet you do.
I'll hear it in different ways where I'll hear when the person got the advice, and then I'll hear, a day or 2 weeks or whatever later how they received the advice, and whether or not they thought it was good advice, bad advice. I'm like, interesting. And just the little, I mean, it happens in every industry, but just the subtle little mind games that go on of trying to navigate, like you want to get shows, you want to be friendly, but I like this person, I don't like that person, and it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Interesting little world y'all are in.
I know. It is funny. I mean, luckily I don't really have any beef with anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see that, like it's weird. It's not. It's very entertaining. Like now, DFW Comedians, that Facebook page, like it's pretty like tame now. But like back in the day, I mean, bro's probably still wild as hell when you came into the scene. Like
well, it's like I got to work with Lawrence on his special, and before all of that, I had a very small relationship with him just from, I saw him and I said, hey, come on the podcast. I had no idea he was going through all that stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing posts about him punching someone on stage at Hyenas,
Throwback.
Yeah. And it's like all that. And I was like, Jesus. And then you see everyone weighing in on how it should be handled and all this. And, I mean, the only thing that's gotten close to that lately is like the Big Laugh Comedy Club drama that goes on over there.
Yes.
But I just stay out of it now. Like I interviewed that guy. I didn't stay out of it in that sense, but that actual comedy group online, it's like anything you post in there that isn't just offering someone a show or saying something very positive about someone, it's like all of a sudden the scrutiny comes in real fast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, I don't know who y'all are. I don't have the time. Someone who I'd never met said that I like unfriended them, which we had never had a social media connection at all. I'd never met this person in real life at all. And they were like, and Travis Wright can go to hell. I was like, okay. Cool. I was
You're not getting on the podcast.
Yeah, but it's like, I've never even met you. I don't know who you are. It's like, all right, whatever. This place is interesting. That's the closest I've gotten to being in any of that little bit of drama.
Yeah.
But just having Brandon on here from the club, it like all of a sudden my DMs flooded with people's opinions about him.
Really?
Good or bad. And then their opinions on me for like, you gave him a platform and all this kind of, and it's like,
why not?
What are you talking about? First of all, there's how many sides to everyone's story?
Yeah.
I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know if you're lying. I don't know
Yeah.
what your deal is. And I don't know him. I don't know if he's lying either. It's like, but if you're curious and he's willing to come on, it's like, this is a great opportunity to talk to him and listen to
that
him.
was
and
perfect timing.
And see, yeah. Well, that's what I told him. I was like, well, hey, man, if you want, I was like, I don't know your situation. It's none of my business. But if you want to come talk on the podcast, I was like, this is a great opportunity for you to address whatever you want. And I still stand with, it's like, look, I don't know. I know that you know that producing shows is difficult. Mm-hmm. And with your business mindset from your previous ventures too, you know that running any business is hard.
Very.
Right?
Yeah.
There's always curveballs that you didn't anticipate. There's always things you don't know. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so I don't know if this guy is a shyster who's stealing money from everyone he can, or if he's a dude who's trying to make a business work and he caught some bad breaks and there's no good way to navigate it. But what I do know is if he owes you money, and the way for him to pay you back is to have a successful club, then it's still in your best interest for that club to do well.
It is true.
And it's in the comic's best interest because then you got a room to work in, hopefully, right? And then it's like, if all of that is successful and he never pays you a dime back, well, then we know what he is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now we for sure know. And if he's making that much money, go get an attorney and get your money.
Well, and it's just like, yeah, exactly. It's not even that much money. And I'm not saying like that's cool to.
No.
But,
I'm just, yeah. But
yeah.
the hate I received where they're like, you're platforming him. And I was like, excuse me, I will have every comedy club owner in the city on this show.
Yeah, you should do that.
Any of them. I would love to have them all on here just to hear their philosophy on their club, booking, what makes a good comic, bad comic. Why wouldn't I talk to that guy about that? And he shared his thoughts on, why his club is run the way it is. It's like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, however it works.
But it was my little introduction of like, whew. Y'all's world these people can get real nasty real fast.
Yeah, and it's I've had things written about me and like, I've had a lot of shit said about me that I'm like, I hear about it on the back end. Like one time I was misquoted in an article and didn't make me look very good, but you just kind of have to roll it off. Like you can only really control what's like 5 feet around you. Yeah. And even then you may not be able to do anything about it. So it's just like, it's not about what happens, it's how you deal with it. And you kind of just got to ignore it because people are lonely. People don't have enough to do. People are like, they're looking for any, some people are just really looking for any sort of importance. And being a keyboard warrior is one way to do it, I guess.
We had an insane neighbor at the last place I lived. We owned this condo over near like Greenville Avenue and Lovers. We loved living there. We had this horrible neighbor across the hall from us. It was one of those where it's like a fourplex. Like there was all these condos, but there's like 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and the door and the halls right in between all 4 of them. And so you always ran into your neighbors,
Yeah.
And this person had some real mental health issues, but they also weren't doing a lot to
help it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
you had a hard time telling like what was real and what were they making up. Were they making up some of these issues they had, or was it all 100% real? You couldn't tell. And they were doing weird things like they were signing for our packages and stuff so that we would knock on their door and ask for our package and then interact, And they would scream so loud in their unit that you could hear them in our unit. And, the first couple times before we knew better, we're like, everything okay? Oh, yes. No, I just have, I'm bipolar and manic or whatever, Okay, and we're trying to just be nice, friendly neighbors. And then it's like that door just kept getting opening up too much. And then it's like complaints were coming our way. Like we were being accused of stealing her fresh peaches that she had delivered. Things like that. And we're like, we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Asking us to like trade parking spaces and weird things.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where like, now we're kind of heated. And we're like, hey, you can't do this, can't do that, blah, blah. And then that escalated even more. It was more interaction. And the only way we resolved it was I finally snapped. There was like a note on my door or something one day, and I snapped. And it was one of those where like, they're looking through the peephole at you because they hear you come up the steps.
Yep.
And it's like, I know you're watching me to see if I read it. And so I was like, I'm just going to crumble this up and throw it down in front of your door. And from now on, I'm having 0 interaction.
Yeah.
No good, no bad, no nothing. And that was the only thing that fixed it was I'd be walking down the steps with my dog and, she'd be like, how are you? And I'd be like, nothing. I just walk right by. No, nothing, no look, no nothing. And then she'd try to, well, how is Jack doing about my dog, And I would just pull him and be like, let's go. And it took like a month of that. And then they stopped bothering us completely.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're so right. It's like sometimes they just, even the negative attention, they just want that interaction of some kind.
Yeah. It's like that. There's a lot of people. I had a crazy neighbor too. In our neighborhood.
Current?
Yeah, current.
You'll have to tell me afterwards.
But yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, she kept on trying to find ways to talk, to kind of trap me in a conversation. And then all of a sudden
monopolizing the conversation.
Well, and then it's like escalating and then escalating and then escalating. And then, when our whole relationship was like, hey, is my cat over there? Okay. Or she'd call me, even though it wasn't an issue that my cat was in their yard. She'd be like, your cat's over here. So I'd go over there, and then I'm in a 30-minute conversation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then, she had surgery, and she asked if we could drive her somewhere. So my husband's nice. Then it's like asking every week. We had to stop that,
and they make, okay, so this same condo that we were in, we just had this unique group of 3 elderly women living around us, which... Now
on
that
paper is great.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, this was like a sitcom, right? So we had our upstairs neighbor across the hall. She had all these mental issues, and the downstairs neighbor below her was a Hungarian woman who had like pissed off the majority of her family, so they didn't want to take care of her anymore. And she she claimed she could never move. Like I can't get up without a walker and blah, blah, blah. But if you came home in the middle of the day, you'd see her like walking down the sidewalk and stuff, And then the one below us was the best neighbor, and she was just some poor, I shouldn't say poor. She was a sweet older woman, but something happened where she had a trach, so she could never really speak very well. But she'd open up the door, say hi, and she would make jokes. She'd be like, I know I sound like Donald Duck, but like she'd talk shit about herself. She was a great neighbor. But the other two, that's how the Hungarian woman, it's like she would give us these woe is me stories all the time. And you just want to be a good neighbor, right? We're in Texas. We've got our southern manner. Absolutely. What do you need help with? Yeah, of course I'm your neighbor, And then her dog, her corgi, Kiki, who she fed all these like rich, fatty Hungarian foods because she was one of those like old school, I'm cooking all these Hungarian meals all the time. And her dog was like super obese and diabetic and was dying because of these issues. And she refused to stop feeding the healthy food. And so like a sucker, we were down there twice a day giving this dog insulin shots.
Wow.
She gave us a key. I would try to get in there and sneak in the insulin shot before she heard me come in so I could like get out and go to work, and you're trying to be a good neighbor. But then when you tried to pull away, all of a sudden you're an asshole. So like, unfortunately the dog passed away, of course.
Yeah.
And which by the way, I had to take the dog to get it cremated. It was like a whole thing. And so every time you're in there, like you said, 30-minute conversation, 40-minute conversation. It's like,
you don't want to be rude, and they play off that. Like
as soon as when the dog passed and we stopped coming by as often, we turned into the nasty neighbors that we're so mean to this poor old woman. And like that was a little bit of the reputation that was going around our little neighborhood.
Because you finally put up some boundaries.
Yeah, like we're not sitting with her for 30 minutes a day talking with her, and we are ignoring the other woman upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, our downstairs neighbor loved us and we loved her. Everything was great, but yeah, I was like, I feel bad for you that you burned all your bridges with your family and stuff, but
hey, this seems to be an issue in your life.
Maybe this is the bed you made.
Yeah.
And it's like, if your house is on fire, I'll pull you out, but like, I'm not your friend.
Maybe.
Yeah. I can fully appreciate that though. So are you still having to interact, or is it?
Well, no, she's not there anymore. So it's like this one, it all kind of went downhill earlier this spring whenever, very high level conversations. I have like put the boundary up, all that stuff. And then one day out of the blue, she's like, my husband's leaving me. Texting me this. I don't know this woman.
Jesus.
And tried to trauma dump on me for a couple weeks. And then finally I was just like, here's a really good therapist.
Have you heard of BetterHelp?
Exactly. Like, I can't get involved with this or anything. But, it's kind of funny. Venues are kind of like that too. Like people, the reason why I have all these good venues and good, it's because I have, gotten my ass handed to me a couple times, and one thing I've realized is like, I really can't do charity right now. It takes a lot to be able to give, and I don't have it. And, in 2023, I got so burnt out that it was like, I fell off like this cliff of depression. I it was just very, and it was because I just said yes too much. I was just too spread thin. And
yes, in what ways?
like maybe not really knowing my worth, like saying yes to a budget, but then like it actually really wasn't worth it. Now I got a real good contract. All right. Like, cause it's like really laying out what is done, like, because people will take what they can from you. I mean, I even had a venue this year that was just like, man, I was already doing her a favor, you know, being able to have this show here. I'm already not really making any money. I can't do this anymore. And it was just like, it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? Like, it was the people who pay the least are the people who are going to be the most annoying. Like, and I hate to say that because it's like, I do, you know, the greater good, right? Like, I want all these shows to be everywhere, but it can't come at my expense.
I agree with you. I mean, when you said you want to be the person that pays people, you know, I resonate with that so well because I've always felt like, look, I don't want the cheapest person.
No.
You know, I don't want that. And I don't want the most overpaid, hyped person. You know, I want to pay you what is good and fair in hopes that you respect me and you go, they're paying me what's good and fair, so I'm going to give them what's fair. You know, and what I find frustrating on the other end of that, though, is like you can pay what you believe is good, right? Or what they agree is good. And like, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, it's like, I used to wait tables. It's like, you know, when you work in the industry and you go drink at somebody else's bar, it's like you hook them up, right? Because you're in the industry. You know, it's like, hey, this is normally a $10 tip. It's going to be a $20 tip. You know, it's like, this is what we're going to do because, right? And so, you know, when it's the right amount of extra. And when you would go back to those bars, they would now remember you as a service industry regular. And it's like, look, I don't need all my drinks free or anything. I just want to be able to sit down and get a drink quickly and always have a spot up here. And if they did that, it felt just this wonderful reciprocation. It was just a great symbiotic relationship. And then in these other areas, it feels like when you pay people, they don't get that. And they still bring you the shit, you know, and you're just like, what the hell? I know for a fact this is more than you're going to get paid in another scenario. Why are you doing this to me? You know?
Yeah. I mean, but that's when you just, you know, at that point in time, you know, very rare, if that happens to me when I'm paying someone really well and they just give me this subpar performance, and I understand bombs happen, right? Like, I just had the worst bomb of my entire career like a couple weeks ago. And, but if you kind of are nonchalant or I feel like it's disrespect, because you know, I just don't hire him again. You know what I mean?
Do you even try to have a conversation, or do you just, is it, in your eyes, is it like not worth it? You know,
not worth it unless they ask. I just pay them and, you know, whatever. And then if they're like, hey, why am I not getting booked? Then I'll tell them. Right. Yeah. But if I want to keep working with them and I do think it was something that, you know, maybe they weren't trying to put me off or anything like that, I always say something. I'm always just like, and I try and come at an angle where it's like, you know, I think it's always good to make it easy for people to tell you the truth. Right. So come in nicely, you know, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their scenario is or why this happened. And it's not like I'm perfect. Like, you know, It's a good way. I still get trapped in this, you know, it's like a prideful ego thing of like, I feel like you need to know, you know, which is like a terrible approach in a lot of scenarios. And I'm getting better at it. Like, I think becoming a father makes you take a step back and like pace yourself a little better, because it's like you can't talk to a 5-year-old that way. Yeah. And a lot of times when you're dealing with these people who you think are professionals, you're actually dealing with toddlers. Yes. And but yeah, it's like, you know, there's still this thing in me where I think I get so jaded with the world lately where you know, the concept of just quality of like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to care about it, and I'm going to do it as well as I can. You know, like, I don't care what your career is, what your job is. It's like, just think, you know, this is providing a service of some kind, whatever you do. And that service is important, you know? It's like, how great is it when you have an incredible fast food establishment in your neighborhood that you can rely on, where the people seem competent. It's like, and that's just fast food. Just fast food can make your neighborhood like, oh, I love living here. We go to this one spot. It's great. In and out. People are so nice there. It's clean, you know? And it's like, my go-to lately is like Buc-ee's. It's like, who would have thought just clean fucking restrooms? I know. And just caring a little would have changed that industry the way it's changing it. And so then you see the amount of people where it's the opposite, where there's zero care. It's always, I think that's just good enough, right? That's good enough. And it's like, yeah, but And there's like a
it would be
fine
so
line.
it would be so easy to make this better. It wouldn't
Yeah.
even cost you anything.
Yeah.
It's just caring. And so that's where the jaded part of me feels like, they need to know. Someone needs to tell them.
Well, and
And I don't like being that way. But who I will put on blast was DCC
Okay.
in a good way. I reached out to them maybe like a year or two ago. It's been a while because and I didn't call them up. I went online through the email suggestion thing or whatever. And we'd been to a couple of their shows. The service in the theater was terrible. It's like you'd get a drink at the bar, you'd go sit down, a server would come by and say they'd be your server, and then you'd finish your drink, you'd watch 2 performers, and nobody ever came back to get you another one. And it happened multiple times, And I try to approach it from a good way. I sent a thing in, I was like, hey, we love your venue. We're still going to be customers. We want to come back, and we will come back. But we've had this experience. And it's like, I think I said something like, I know y'all it used to be Dallas Comedy House, and that failed, and now we're so happy y'all revived it. But surely, increased alcohol sales is going to help keep you open.
Yeah.
And if y'all can find a way to address this, I think it would be good for all of us, And to their credit, it was like an immediate response from one of the owners. I know it's co-owned. And Rosie was like, you know what? You're right. We need to get more servers in here. We need to do that. It's something we're working on. It's hard post-COVID to hire for that, but that's not a good excuse. We're going to work on it.
I love that.
And it's like, that's all I want. All I want is just, if I were to come to you and politely say it, you go, we're going to check it out. We're going to look into it. Because it's like, as a producer, don't you value that feedback? It's like
100%. I live off of it.
If you did not know that was happening and then your place failed, you'd have all these BS reasons why it failed. You'd never actually know why it really did. And that might drive you insane. And so it's like these real serious owners and producers, it's like, that type of it's negative feedback, but it's constructive, and it's like if you can handle that, I feel like that's what's going to separate your venue, your show, whatever you're doing, where it's like really take a hard look. What do you need to do better?
Yeah, and I think that you doing that is like it's very beneficial. It's like a high vibrational thing, right? Where it's like you're helping the business, take it or leave it. I mean this in good faith, right?
Yeah.
Where I can't is like, okay, so there's certain comics that they've been doing it a long time, and sometimes they're headaches, and then they don't absolutely crush. And if they weren't such a headache, it wouldn't be an issue, right? But they were such an issue. They were the issue leading up to it and after, and it's like not even worth my time. I'm not going to hire you again if you ask me. Great. When it comes to a venue or when it comes to something where I think it could be like really constructive, like it could help everything, like selflessly. Maybe it's not helping me at all, like you with DCC.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, I want the club to be there for a while. I also just want a couple drinks while I'm there.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't even thinking about me. It's like, if I really want to, I can get up and go to the bar and grab another drink. It's not like I'm fully capable of finding my drink. But, I start thinking about the bigger comedy scene, right? You always hear these, I don't know if it's true or not, but you always hear these people saying like, 80% of the crowd, this is their first comedy show. And it's like, well, if that's true, right? Or even if it's half, a third, whatever, the majority of our clubs cannot sell out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, right? And if we're ever going to get to that point where you could sell out all those nights, where you could be a scene like New York and LA where people are just showing up to the club to see who's there.
Even Austin's like that now.
Part of that is when these people come in, right? What you were talking about earlier, they need to feel comfortable, needs to feel like a good hang. Part of that is like great service.
It's always great service.
Right?
That's what it always comes
Right.
out. This is America.
So if you're sitting there, it's your first time at a comedy show and you're like, they were pretty funny, but it's like my drink was empty and I don't know if I go order one or like, do I go to the bar?
Yeah.
Or what do I do? It's like, I know where I can go do this. This person, if it's their first comedy show,
it's scary.
they have no idea what, like, am I supposed to ask them? Am I supposed to talk? What am I supposed to do? They told me before the show, don't interrupt anything. Can I get up?
Yeah. No, that's...
And from that aspect, it's like, how many people are you going to accidentally lose? You weren't doing anything wrong. It was just this misinterpretation, And I mean, I think they're a great club. I think they're doing things right. And talking about reinvestment, they're the only people lately who they totally redid that whole main room. I can't imagine how expensive
great.
that was.
It was probably very expensive.
Yeah. I guess it's Nilm and Mic Drop just did that full rebrand
I was
up there,
just
right?
gonna say, yeah, it looks crazy in there. I love it.
Have you been in there in person?
Yeah.
The pictures look insane.
Yeah.
It looks very like, it makes me think of that 90s Saturday Night Live set for like musical guests, where just like interesting kind of grungy look. But
and I think all of their clubs have some sort of theme, right? Or they're all kind of like that.
Okay.
But yeah,
I didn't even know they were a chain.
Yeah, they're a chain. We're getting a Punchline too.
I heard about that.
I'm excited for that one. I think it's going to be. I think it's at the Toyota Music Factory. Maybe
is that Frisco, or is that
maybe Irving?
Irving. Okay, I get them all mixed up because the names always change.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we call the Fair Park concert area anymore. You know, Starplex, whatever.
Oh yeah, I
that's
guess
what it used to be. I don't know what it is now, but yeah. Wow, that's so. How many clubs is that going to make now?
Let's see. We've got DCC, both Improvs, both Hyenas, Mic Drop, Big Laughs.
Then you've got Backdoor. You've got Comedy Arena up in McKinney.
Comedy Arena, yeah.
Who are we missing? There's that small place. I haven't been to it out in Rockwall, Jack's. I haven't been
out there either, so that's 10.
10 clubs, and then I'm sure we're missing a couple still. There's some little small ones sometimes.
Yeah, so when Punchline comes,
clubs,
11.
11 clubs.
Yeah, that's great. That's such a blessing that we are here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, really. That's why it drives me nuts when people still think, like, you got to go. And it's like, look, I know it's not the same here as it is in LA and New York. But when you're talking about just stage time, it's like, you're telling me you can't craft a set here? Well,
and like, you know, it's bittersweet, right? Because it's like, you get really good when you go to those places. You know, it's good to get out of your environment, but DFW is really, you know, like, you go down to Austin, you can hit just as many, you know, stages as you can in New York and LA. They are closer together, so you don't even have to take a subway or anything. It's very easy. You're seeing a lot of New York and LA comics going there for that reason. But here it's like, just keep going, right? Like, just keep, like there is so much work here that can be done. And not just, because we do have a really good indie scene too. Like, I mean, our comics are working. If
I can't keep up with the indie scene here.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do my best, but it's like, if the algorithm isn't feeding it to me, there's so many things that I miss because, you know, somebody's putting on something in all these little corners, and they're usually recurring shows. It's like, it's not even just breweries. It's like people do, like, you know, hookah bars or something, and all these different things. And you're like, okay, I guess it's everywhere. That's why it makes me so frustrated when I'm happy if people are leaving, like, that they want to leave. Like, you were talking about Des O'Neill. It's like, he was talking about going to New York, and he's one of the few people where I'm like, dude, you should go to New York. It's like, I'm going to miss you here.
Yeah.
But you definitely should. Like, you've got a special quality. And I feel like if you go up there with these comics who are a totally different cadence and style than you, it's going to force you to kind of level up a little bit.
Yeah, and he's been, like, I mean, he just continues to level up. Like, something is going to happen for him. I just know
I hope so. I mean, I really like him, and it's just, we went to see him at one of those Kessler shows, a bunch of local comics, but you know, I told my wife, I was like, hey, he was on the podcast. I was like, trust me, he's funny. And she's like, is it funny? Like, you love it? Or am I going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's always my gauge of, you know, are they kind of universally funny? Like, if we both agree, like, if I look over and she is just dead laughing, that's usually, like, she's a much harder person to win over than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she absolutely loved him. She's like, how is he killing this hard here? Just,
dude. And he's been killing forever. I mean, he's been doing comedy just as long, maybe even longer than I have. And yeah, he needs to be, you know, it is surprising that I don't see him working more weekends. Like, you know, it's just, we do have some OG people here, like him. Jamie Gravy just came back in town.
Yeah.
We've got, you know,
I've been banging my head trying to line up my schedule to see the Coldplay.
Oh my God. I cannot say
I don't even want anybody to tell me what it is. I just want to be fully surprised. You know what I mean? Because I know enough from what I've seen online about how those two guys work. That,
well, name a better duo.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, I don't want to know a single detail. I want to go in wondering, what the fuck am I about to see? It's something with music. I think they have instruments. They wear black clothes. I don't know. And but I'm desperately trying to watch the Coldplay. It's Coldplay too, right?
Yeah, Coldplay too. So they're headlining my Harvest Hall November show. So
maybe that's when I do it then.
And it's going to be a really good show. John Brown's featuring. He's hilarious.
You know what? My wife, we're going to have the new baby by then, which means I'm going to be on paternity leave. So maybe that's when I can finally make it out. That'll be awesome. Okay.
No, that is
John Brown, another killer.
Yeah, such a killer. I'm trying to think of who else is on there.
That's going to be a weird show.
Oh, it's Arun and Bridget Tooley. Those are the other ones. It is a
Wow.
very weird show. And like, that's the thing with Coldplay too. You either love them or hate them.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely brilliant. Like because Jamie's one of my best friends, so is John Marcus. But
Okay.
when I first heard what they were doing, because I think it kind of came to fruition because I don't know if like maybe they were just taking a step back from comedy or whatever, because this is like, you're going to see it and be like, wow, you guys have put some time into this thing.
Yeah.
And it is just, I mean, it's honestly great. And every time I've seen it, it's been different.
Just from the weird promotional tactics
my
they've
God.
done, I was like, okay. It's like, well, and I don't know much about John, but it's like I know Jamie has this history as a stand-up working with Eddie Griffin, right? So it's like, okay, he's obviously professional.
Yeah.
And what I have liked about him though is I remember it just seems like over the years, it's like he's always just kind of swinging for the fences with ideas. It's like, what was that variety show y'all were doing?
Oh, Say Uncle.
Yeah, and it's like, look, we know not everything's going to hit, but it's like I like people that swing for the fence with some different ideas. You know what it makes me think of? I don't really like watching improv at all. And
Yeah.
I feel like improv people are way too positive about bad things, right?
Yeah.
But I do like really good improv, and I like really good sketch, and I think that's what I've kind of started to throw him into that category of. Is like, okay, it's going to be what I would like improv to be, which is it's different and weird, but it's focused and coordinated enough. You know what I mean? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm really
And you're on the right track.
okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. It's like I know there's going to be just enough out of the pocket stuff, but there's going to be a path. It's not just winging it the whole time.
No,
That's exciting.
It is. It is.
Where
really
do they
exciting.
go with an act like that?
Well, that's something that I offer it to corporate, and it does pretty well.
How long of a set can they do?
I've had them for, I think the longest I've had them was 40 minutes.
Wow, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Mostly, because I've hired them a couple times, it's mostly like that 20 to 25. But
they could turn this into like a headlining
God.
traveling thing then if they can do
Absolutely.
40 minutes.
Absolutely. And now that, that they're here with all these clubs, like I hope that the clubs start putting them on, because it is they could have a cult following.
Yeah.
Like I really, truly think
I
it's
haven't even
brilliant.
watched a second of it, and I'm already like a fan somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how you know it's good.
Just because like I said, with the promo, it's like you can see the attention to detail. Like,
Oh, my
they
God.
like it. They like what they're doing, is what it appears. I mean, hopefully they don't hate it, but
No, they love it. And it is very attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing about John Marcus and Jamie is like they, like you said, throwing spaghetti on the wall. And that's what you have to do. It's like, if you're just performing, then you need to throw a lot of spaghetti on the wall. Like a lot of it isn't going to work. If you're producing, you've got to throw some spaghetti on the wall, go to some place that you normally wouldn't. Like there's been a lot of venues that I didn't think it was going to work, but I said yes to it and it did.
Wow.
And you learn a lot from those moments.
what do you think was one of the ones where you just thought for sure, like, we'll try it, but this is going to suck?
Statler.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, the Statler.
But that's so funny because when you go into that space, it has a lot of the things a comedy space would have. It's dark.
It reminds me of New York.
Yeah, it's dark, low ceilings, a lot of these little kind of candlelit thing or LED candles, whatever they're using these days. And it has that feeling of like, ooh, we're going into like a secret thing. This is going to be interesting. Ooh, I don't even know if I can talk about this at work this week, So that's funny to think. Why did you think it wouldn't work?
Well, we started with open mics, right?
Okay.
And so, like, I just thought it was too nice of a space. And
Isn't that funny that comedy's got you conditioned to thinking like, it needs to be dingy and
yeah,
shitty?
I was like, this isn't a shithole. I need to get out of here. Like,
Can we sprinkle a couple homeless people out front and just bring it
Yes.
down a little?
exactly.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, we did. And to be fair, like for the first year and a half we were there, it went great. And then they moved us up to Scout and it never really filled out. It was just kind of too big of a room. And then when football season started, I thought for sure they were just going to cancel us. But no, they brought us back down to Bourbon and Banter, put us on a different night for the mic. The thing is with Bourbon and Banter, it's like, either there's like nobody in there or there's like a couple people in there and they're really listening, or sometimes they get a lot of corporate events. So it's like there might be like 50, 60 people in there. No one's listening to you. I mean, it can be a tough room. since they've stopped the mic, which I think was a good business decision, we were driving away business with the open mic. I can't even believe we were there that long.
What do you mean? When these people are on their corporate business trips, they don't want to hear about someone's great,
No.
groundbreaking masturbation joke?
Exactly. Yeah, no. I don't even want to hear about their
Right.
dick, let alone them. But now that we've switched to the monthly shows, it's been going really well. That's what the relationship needs to be now,
Yeah.
And so I'm just lucky they stuck with me for that long, or for this long, and that they were willing to try different things too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, though, because if you're them, you're trying to figure out, what do we do on these off nights? What do we
yes.
do? We've got, and so that speaks to places like that having a great, I don't know what you call them at a place like that. I mean, is it just like an event coordinator, I guess? But, someone who's trying to fill out those days, those months with unique things on your slow nights.
Yeah. And a lot of it is how you approach it. Like, I mean, when it comes to a mic, like I literally say, what is your deadest day? That's where we need to be. And that usually works pretty well because, everyone's got to buy something to go up. You're getting at least 25 people buying drinks, even if it's a water bottle. You know what I mean? And then with shows, I'm basically just like anything Wednesday through Sunday I'm open to. But if you have something really well established on Friday and Saturday, like we don't need to fuck that up. So
what? Okay, when you first started doing this, right? Because that's kind of a unique leap to go, I'm going to walk into this establishment and tell them why not only do we want to do this here, but why they should give me a small budget for this. So like when you very first did it, do you remember the first place you walked into where you like, can I talk to the manager, or how did you approach the first one?
That was it. I walked in. It was a bar, McKinney Avenue Tavern.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so I just walked in there at a time that I thought they would be dead. It was like Tuesday, 2 p.m. And I just asked to speak to the manager, and the owner was there. And I just asked if we could do this on some off night. And, he's like, and I totally under quoted what I should have done. I mean, I think my first mic, I was making like $30. That all went to the bar tab,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what made you decide that first one though? Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go in there and talk to him. What was the moment where you're like, if I'm gonna, you were saying like, I'm not getting booked to these places, I'm gonna go set up my own thing. This place, this is the one. Like, what was the jolt that made you go, okay, time to go?
It was just, it's kind of like when I had gone in there. I was just drinking. I think it was like maybe OU, Texas. And we had gone in there drinking, and I saw the stage. It was my first time in there. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this will work. And I lived not too far away at that time. So I just walked over there and just made a point to go there and ask. I get told, that's the thing you got to remember is like, prepare to be told no a lot. Like I've been told no way more than I've been told yes. And through these conversations, like when people say no, I'm also very good about being like, okay, I totally accept that. Why? Because that's just always good information, right? And I just think just through all the no's and all the asking whys and clocking that, and then you start to learn how to talk to people and like what they want to hear. And what you just have to understand is like it's all revenue based. Like, are you making this place money or not? So another thing that I do that I always tell comics to do whenever they're first starting out is if you're going to do a mic, go someplace and say it's got to be a 5-week trial period, because in 5 weeks you're gonna get a figure out how it's going to be. You're gonna have good nights, bad nights. You might have all bad nights, but either way, it's 5 weeks you're getting paid. At the end of the 5 weeks, you look at the bar sales, and I like to go back year to date and just see how they were doing on that week. And if they like it and they want to sign on, we do that either every 3 months or every 6 months. Because I've had times where it's like the owner will be like, no, I don't think this is working. But then we look at the bar sales and all of a sudden I'm there for a year.
Well, hold on though, because are you telling them like, let's pull up your bar sales from last year, and they're open to that?
Yeah, we'll sometimes do
they're not
like
saying
the week
like,
before or week after.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not looking at you going like, excuse me?
They
you want to
are.
look at my bar sales? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, they can print it off. It's just for that 5-week period. I just want to know. And it's just for the days. I'm not saying like seeing what it is. I just need to know on this day.
But they're pretty open to that usually.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes they don't do it, but I always
yeah.
like try and go in there and ask. I mean, now it's to the point where it's like if they're not going to at least show me that data. And it doesn't have to, it can be on whatever metric, they want. But I just want it, it's just so we both know. And there have been times where I didn't get them a lot of revenue and I was like, all right, yeah, we don't deserve to be here. Thanks. It's all, I'm like very big on data. That's why it's like, I know that this can work because it's worked over here,
Yeah. Were the ones who were showing you that usually, did they know it was working for them? Like, were they like, yeah, sure, it seems to be going well, let's look at the numbers? Or was it truly oblivious? Like, we have no idea if this is helping or not?
No, I think I'd always bring that up, in the beginning, right? Like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And I would have a little document for the 5-week trial period. And then I'd have another one ready for if they wanted to sign on.
Gotcha.
And then I would always put a clause in there, that, okay, you need to give me a 30-day. If you're going to you can cancel this anytime, but you got to give me a 30-day heads up where you can either let me finish out the time or you can pay me for that time. But, that's kind of how I've learned to protect myself. But yeah, a lot of times they are, a lot of times you just kind of know. They'll see, like, we're there on a dead night, right? All of a sudden there's like 20 people there. Everyone's going to know. You know what I mean? Or if there's like 5 people there, but like, okay, so the mat, there were 5 people that came for 5 weeks, right? And it was the 6th week that it just blew up. And I think he was just like entertained by it. Like it wasn't anything. But those 5 people came and had dinner every night, and they really spent the money, and it ended up kind of definitely made money. I mean, they're getting way more than $30, but yeah. I mean, I really like looking at bar sales. Interesting.
It's just I'm trying to think of how many people, like myself included, I don't know that I would just walk in there and tell them like, here's the show, here's why. And we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and here's how I evaluate it. So at the end of this 5-week period, which it all makes sense when you tell me that. I'm just thinking, I don't know many comics who have that mindset who are going to go, yep, this is how we're going to do it, and then they actually get it done. Most people are so timid about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Scared money don't make no money. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole reason I started comedy was to get confidence, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just, and for some reason it's given it to me. And I think, when you just shit the bed on stage and then you have to get back and do it again, like all of a sudden it's like not so scary, right? The first few times I've gone into bars, like, yeah, it was totally scary. And even sometimes now I go into meetings. I mean, I had a meeting earlier this year that I was really nervous about and it went well. And it's just like, you just have to keep going. And that 5-week, this whole thing, that started probably 2 years in, right? In the beginning, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I definitely, one time I'm forgetting this pizza place. It was like down in the Cedars, had a great stage. And then someone had an absolute meltdown on stage and we were done right then and there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even fight it. You're
like, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He just called that audience member a bitch. Like, I need to get out of here.
Oh my God.
It was so bad. I mean, luckily that hasn't happened a lot. There have been a couple of times where people have, and I get it, right? Like, even though, like, knock on wood, like, I haven't had a full blown meltdown, but it's like, that's happened on my stages quite a bit. And I get it, you worked really hard on this cum joke, and this is your art. And you're not even listening?
You worked so hard on this cum joke.
I know.
It's so true, though. I think that's one of my favorite things about going to some of the more independent shows, especially the like really low tier open mics. One, I love going because I like seeing you at this low tier open mic, and then if I see you 6 months later and you've made some progress, it's like, hell yeah. Like, it's like, I don't even know you, but I'm so proud of you that like you're sticking with that. And I saw that terrible joke that wasn't a cum joke, like you had an actual real premise. And now I'm seeing you kind of develop that more. And it's like, oh my God, they fixed this stuff. It's getting better. And it's like, that's so exciting. But on the flip side, it is always enlightening seeing how many people think like talking about taking a shit in a bathroom, coming, masturbation. And it's so fascinating to me that there are so many people who get to those topics as a first topic in comedy. It's like, I think I've seen 150 people now who have never made it into comedy, but they started with like masturbation. And you're like, why is that the common thread of beginning comedy?
I don't know.
And while they're saying it, they feel very profound.
I know.
They feel so like, It's like they take the stage and they're like, get ready. I'm about to blow your mind.
I know.
And it's like, there's been times when I'm going to do something like we've been renovating our home because we have the new baby coming. And it's like, there's been times I'm starting a project that is above my skill level. And I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm trying to do my research before I go and fuck up my house. You know? And it's like literally lately now I'm like, I'm not even religious. And I'm like, Lord, just please give me the confidence of an open micer right now when I start this project. Like,
Yeah.
Because so many of them, they're just so like, I'm going to rock your world. And then you're right. It's like, as they're getting through that first minute and a half, 2 minutes, and no one's on board, they start collapsing and all the insecurity turns to rage.
Yes. It happens.
And it's a fascinating, like, I really think, like Ivy League schools should be studying the psychology behind all of that. Of like the person who signed up, you worked on that. How long did you work on that cum joke for?
Yeah.
Did you work on that for a couple of weeks before you showed up? Months? Or did you just wing it today? What was it? There's all this like psychology behind comedy that I feel like nobody has studied that would be fascinating.
It's funny because people are like, I still can't believe I'm doing it. Like, and I literally can't stop. Like, it's like, and I just think about those first 5 years, like they're pretty brutal. Like I just recently took down a bunch of videos that should not have been online. And like, I'm like, oh my God, Gretchen.
Well, I mean, good for you though. Isn't that all of it? Like you're supposed to just continuously grow in whatever the art form is.
I'm always chasing this. Like, yes, it is like, like I said at first, like I was getting confidence. If I did 10 open mics, I'd be 10 times more confident, and it did work. And I just didn't stop doing it. But there have been like I always like to say 4.5, because there's like this one where I almost got there, where it's like, I get into like a flow state, right? And it's like, when I'm up there, I am saying it. I'm not actually like, it's like I'm not like present. Like I'm just on autopilot and I'm hitting everything. And when I look back in my memory of it, I'm actually kind of looking at myself from a side view. And I just remember the faces, but it's like I don't remember any sound. It's all muffled. And it's like I'm just chasing that high always. And it just happens randomly. The last time it happened, I was at the Kessler, and I wish I had videotaped it. And, it's just, that's, I think, what I'm doing for it. That and me not becoming an employee again,
Yeah, two things. One, how surprisingly great is the Kessler for comedy.
Oh my God, I'd go there anytime.
I love watching concerts there.
Yeah.
And the first local show I went to see there, where they're doing, comedy night at the Kessler or whatever. I'm thinking it's a music venue. It's great for music. I've seen so many wonderful concerts there. I love everything about that theater. But I'm thinking but for comedy, like, come on. It's not going to be that good.
It's amazing.
It's like, it's this big cavernous space. We're not going to fill it out, I saw that they were like, some of the tables up front were selling for like $100 a table or something. And I was like, for local comedy? And we go there. The show's sold out. And I guess just credit to the sound and lighting there. They knew how to make that room feel like an intimate club.
It really did.
Rather than this big space that has 2 levels of seating. And I was shocked. I was like, just the tasteful choices of like the show I watched. It was just like a single regular light coming down on the center of the stage. So everything else was blacked out behind, and you didn't notice there was this giant stage that they were on. You didn't notice that there were these tall ceilings. And I was like, fuck, I guess that's what it's like working with professionals at, this incredible theater. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I left there, going like, I can't believe comedy worked that well in that room. And it was great. It was a great show. But then the other thing is, how do you have all your ducks in a row, but you don't have a camera filming all of your sets?
I know.
How you of all people, you're not doing that?
Well, like, it's like I know. I needed to like for a while. I just like, this is the worst excuse ever. I just didn't have a tripod.
Sure.
And so
yeah, Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's how I did it. But then it was like, for that show, I was like, man, I hope that, that's where I've like really fucked up over the last couple of years, is I've like not been very good at like filming my set. Like I audio it all the time, like audio record, but that's not going to help me at all.
We're in a video world now.
I know. And
because I thought that with this podcast, I was like, early on, I was like, I don't want to do video. I like audio. I like just the audio podcast. That's really all I listen to, is just the audio. But it's a video world. It's like the video just does so well. And it's like, all right, that's just the world I'm in now. Even I would much rather only do audio.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even just pulling these cameras down, it takes a layer of pressure off. You know what I mean? Like it's one more thing to forget going on around you.
Yeah.
So I get it. But yeah, you got to do that now.
Yeah, I'm back on it now.
You're not the type of person to have an excuse for that.
No. That was definitely not the move on my part. But yeah, I've definitely been filming a lot more. I'm a little weird about putting my stuff online. I need to get over it because I've got a bunch of great little clips.
Well, it depends on what you want to do with it. Like, I mean, are you wanting to create a set towards like a big recording that you want to do, or are you just wanting to put things out there while you're growing yourself? And you know that this material is never going to turn into some collective piece. You know what I mean? And so I feel like if you're thinking these are funny jokes and I'm really enjoying putting on this performance and I'm writing all the time and these jokes aren't any kind of central theme or anything, then it's probably fine to put a lot of that out. Like if you know it's just going to be like, oh, these kill, I enjoy doing them, and even if I have it online, I'm going to do it again at other shows. And I think the only thing that you should keep precious is if you feel like this material feels special. Like maybe I want to dedicate this to a 10 or 15 minute, like a real recording, or maybe I want to work this into like a 30 minute or a 40 minute.
I'd like to do a 30 to 45 minute special at some point, probably within the next like 8 to 12 months. I'd like to do it.
I would say if it's that material, I wouldn't put anything out.
Yeah.
I would just keep honing that. But if, that's why everybody does crowd work, right? Because that's disposable.
Easy to put on there.
Yeah, sure. But, I would say if you've got old material that you love, but you know it'll never be included into something that you do later, those are probably great clips to put out.
Yeah.
If it's stuff that you're proud of, but it's just not going to... Well, it's like Lawrence, when we recorded for him, part of the reason he wanted to record that is he's like, dude, it's just, that was that version of me. And that version, a lot of it's gone and I'm trying to get rid of the rest of it anyway. He's like, I don't want to be the meth guy anymore. Like I've got a kid now. I'm clean. I've moved into these other chapters of my life. It's time to put that away. And so that was kind of his like final nail on like, okay, I preserved that, I guess, and maybe is a good way to put it. And now he's working on his material that he feels like is more about this part of his life.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the way to think about it if you've got these clips, is if it's stuff like that you feel like it'll never be included in who I am now if I record a special thing of some kind.
Yeah, I think my thought process is like, if I could get that, 30 to 45 minute special somewhere someone can watch the whole thing, and then I just dice all of that up into clips, and then I'll just have the other material that I'm doing, that way I don't feel like I burned it. You know what I mean?
What I've been thinking, because let's see, you've been doing comedy now. You're right at the 10-year mark, right? Right at the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
See, I've been talking about people at y'all's experience level in this comedy scene a decent amount on this podcast, because I think y'all are in the weirdest zone. Like even yourself, you're like, I went through this like depression, this like burnout or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's like the hardest spot for y'all as an outsider, right? I know I'm saying this as someone who's never stepped on stage as a comic, right? But from an outside perspective, it's like I think this is where people fall off because the reward hasn't been given, right?
Yeah.
But you've got this business mindset, right? You know that if this was a career, right, that it would have taken you 4 to 6 years of education, right? And then
that's a good way to look at it.
Right? And so just now, as experienced as you feel, you're only about 4 years on the job.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shitty to think about, but it really is. It's like you're kind of, as much experience as you have, it's like that whole first half was like I was getting my education, I was taking my licks, getting all, like you said, I was putting on these shitty shows. Like now I know how I want to do my contracts. Now I know how I want to do this. Now this previous stuff I had to pull down because it was just whatever. Like now you're kind of honing in on who do I even want to be as a comic?
Yeah.
Had all these life changes between then and now. And Lawrence is in a similar spot, and there's a comic I'm working with at the end of this year. We're going to film something. They're in a similar spot. And it's like, I think the hardest thing for y'all at this phase to realize is you've worked so hard to get your entry-level position into comedy now.
No, I mean...
which... I mean, I don't mean it to sound insulting. I hope it doesn't.
It's not.
But like, great, you're 10 years in, so now you can start.
Well,
but, if you think about it, like, who's one of your favorites? One of your favorite ever, not local, favorite ever famous comic? Who's somebody you really admire?
I really love Mark Norman. I love him.
How long has Mark been doing comedy?
25 years, probably.
Mark didn't even hit his stride until probably his 18th or 19th year, right?
Yeah.
Is when he like became Mark Norman.
Yeah.
You know? Because I remember Arun told me about this guy, Mark Norman, and maybe, I don't know, probably sometime around the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, this guy, he's from this area. He's really funny. Like, you should check him out when he comes through town. And then it was like a year later, the guy's huge.
Yeah.
And it's like, to think that he, you know, like if he was at the 10-year mark and had gotten discouraged and stopped.
And that's the thing is you
know?
just have to like know, you got to do it for more than just wanting to get famous, right? Like it's got to feed your soul in some other way. Like you really got to be a masochist is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
but
so I think that's one of the realizations here locally that, you know, this is my opinion as an outsider again, like I think comics at your phase, at the 15-year mark even, maybe even like the 18-year mark, it's like they need to realize like, hey, this is the part where you still got to be pushing yourself harder than you've ever pushed. And I think maybe what we miss here is like people will write that 40 minutes and then they'll use it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Whereas really at this 10-year mark, it's like maybe the goal should be, can I write 30 minutes over the next 3 years? A new set, new set, new set. And maybe that's kind of what's missing here compared to like a LA or a New York scene is those people over there. It's constantly like, I wrote that, I put it out, fuck, it sucked, whatever. I'm writing the next thing and I'm going to put that out. It's like just a constant, like, how much can I write that is still quality?
it's a more mature scene, you know?
Yeah. And I think we could do that here.
100%.
Right. And so I'm hoping like, I like that like Parker Slavin's just put out something today.
I know. I want to watch it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, good. Parker has been funny for a long time. He needs to put something out to kind of put that pressure of like, great. So you've essentially kind of burned that material. Even if it doesn't blow you up and make you famous, you know now some people have seen that and we don't want to see it again, you know.
Yeah.
So please write another 30 minutes, Parker, right? you know, like I think you're capable of doing it. You're super funny. You wrote that. I know you can write more. And so it's like, can we get Parker to do that? Can we get you to do that? Can we get Des O'Neill, Lawrence? It's like the list of names that we could put in there who are between 10 and 20 years right now, who probably are feeling jaded like, I don't know, man, I've been doing it like 13 years.
Yeah.
I'm still a host or whatever. I don't know. You know, and it's like, yeah, but don't you feel like this is exactly where you should be right now? Because you're not really committing to writing like a new 40 minutes or anything, are you? It's a tough pill to swallow, but I think that is maybe what's differentiating us. It's like, if you can sit down this year, like you said, I have a goal in 12 months to do this. And it's like, and then once that goal is met, it should automatically be like, great. So over the next 12 or 18 months, here's what I'm doing now. And it's like, just that. You know, it's like all this work I think you've put up to this point is just giving you the skills now to be able to do that.
Exactly.
And then now you're just trying to decide like, well, what is it I want to be funny about? I know how to be funny now. Like, you know how to go up and get a laugh now.
Yeah.
Now it's just, well, what material do I want to do? Like, what kind of set do I want to write?
Who am I?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, because, geez, like, you're about to come up on your wedding anniversary, right?
Yeah, we just had it.
You did? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, like, this woman now is so different than the one who started and went to McKinney Avenue Tavern, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just all the perspectives are different.
Well, and it's funny how you go through the things. It's like, you know, for the first like 3-4 years, or this is mine, it was more like, wow, this is fun. I'm finding a community. Like, I know I'm not that funny. I'm stressing out every show. Then about year 5, 6, that's when I was like, I'm the shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Then by year like 7 and 8, I was like, I ain't shit. And now I'm kind of like, all right, I'm all right. But I need to keep going. I haven't like, I feel like I'm like just on like the verge of finding my voice. I'm not quite there yet. Even in 10 years, I feel like I still like, that's why I want to do that special. Cause it's like you said, put it in the past, you know what I mean? And then go from there.
Yeah. That's a good plan.
Yeah, I think so too.
What are you going to do to, like, have you thought about a plan of like, you know what, I need to do this many shows. I'm going to do these shows, tighten this up a certain way. Like, have you started putting a framework together of how you think you're going to get there?
So this year is very much so, I'm treating this year as a learning year, right? And then next year is going to need to be my earning year. And so, you know, I've got, you know, right now I've got a couple different types of shows. Like, I've just recently started offering Harvest Hall, a game show and a dating show, which I didn't have in my bag of tricks until they hired me to do it. And so this year is like, I'd like to get a couple more clients like that. and I'd like to just really get this stuff down pat, you know? And then next year, you know, I just want to get on stage as much as I can. It's a little tricky because I am a blue comic. Most of my venues I don't know how well that would do there.
Yeah.
So I have to be very strategic when I put myself on anyone else who's hiring me, they know what they're getting and I can just do it. But with my shows, it's very, very, you know, Wiley probably doesn't want to hear about, you know, a Plan B joke, you know? They would rather hear someone like an Angela Owen or, you know, like Des or, you know, Jamie. Who else? Barry Whitewater is going to do great there.
You know who I saw that sounds like what you're saying can't be done, and it was incredible to watch, was we went to watch Kyle Kinane at Bricktown in Oklahoma. And it was
I love that club.
Literally, I wanted to start seeing other clubs outside of DFW.
That's a great one.
It was wonderful. It was a great experience. And, you know, we love Kyle Kinane, and he's a master of what he does. And it's like, even if you don't like his style, you know he is a proficient comic. You know what I mean? Watching that guy tap dance with this conservative crowd, similar to your Wiley crowd that you're talking about, I bet, if it's anything like how I grew up out there, he was talking about gun rights, abortion, and like I don't want to give too much away because I don't know if he's actually going to film anything or whatever, but like he would tap dance around this, like, you know, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, you know, and, you know, we don't know why you all have these guns. And of course he's getting like, boo, you know, and it's all in good fun, right?
Yeah.
And he's rolling with them. But then he would spin it around to like when someone finally took him to a gun range and like the switch flipped, you know, and now they're back on his side.
Yeah.
And he was tap dancing like that through the whole thing. The one joke I'll give away because it's just so brilliant that even if you're, but he went through this whole like gun control, mass shooters, all these topics where you're like, you know, because I'm at Bricktown and I'm like, we bought our tickets relatively late. Like the show wasn't sold out because it's just a swarm of Kyle Kinane fans. It was a lot of Kyle Kinane fans and then a lot of people just checking out a comedy show. So they did not know this guy. And so I'm thinking, Jesus, is he really going to hit these topics? And they're going to like follow him out to the parking lot after this? And he hit something along the lines of like, I thought you guys would be all about pro-choice because it's like the ultimate stand your ground law. And there were just, I mean, literally like hicks with cowboy hats, just dying laughing. And so I don't know, maybe that's a good, workout for you is to see like, can I turn this blue material into a little, maybe not less blue, but like, is there a way to rephrase these things and then go test it out on the Wiley crowd?
You know, I really should.
Because what I've learned is, I'm a much more liberal person, and I think liberals at these comedy clubs, man, they laugh at the stuff they love to laugh at, but they don't laugh at just funny stuff in general.
No.
Whereas I've seen more conservative crowds laugh at a much wide, like they will.
Oh my gosh, they can take a joke.
I just watched Jim Norton talking about his transgendered wife and all the weird relationships they have with a Texas crowd who was not a liberal crowd, and they were loving every minute of it, laughing.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point. It's like the people in this crowd, there was easily half of them who probably disagree with like transgendered views and all these things, but they were still on board because they're like, well, we're at a comedy club. We're here to tell jokes and laugh and have a good time. You know, I don't care what he's doing in his bedroom. I'm just here to drink beer and have a laugh. And so I will say, I think you'd probably have better success with that material than you might think out in Wiley.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you know better than me. You've been on the stage, but
like it's a
what do you got to lose? You know, like
well,
just tweak it a little bit here.
A contract, but because
you're
that's
like, thanks, Travis. I can't do my show in Wiley anymore.
Well, I mean, once you get established there, which I'm pretty established there, but it's you know, there's always that fear, right? Like again, like the comfort. Like I want to be able to. First off, I kind of feel like a chump putting myself on my own show someplace other than like host or guest, you know?
I understand, yeah.
Even though what I should be doing, like I'm not going to put myself as a headliner, but I should probably put myself as a feature because I feel like in that feature role, like that's when if it gets a little blue, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
You know, it's those first two warming up roles that I don't know. I get kind of weird. I'm not saying it can't be done. And if it's like a bar show or a show that doesn't really care, you know, Harvest Hall is something that I'm like protecting at all costs. But yeah, I mean, I just did my set as a guest. I've done it there and I've crushed. And sometimes it goes really well. But like I said, like the biggest bomb of my life happened like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's perks of the job. If you're
It's part of
if
it.
you're putting all that effort
It
in,
was good for me.
If you're putting all that effort in, absolutely. I mean, look, we were talking about the Cowabunga guys. They do guest spots on their shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all the time, but they do it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're still in this for comedy. You know,
Yeah.
you definitely should be rewarded. You know if it would be too much or too often.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
you know what boundaries not to
Because
cross.
I'm there, like I'm there most every show, unless I have another show on that date. Like I'm there, even if I'm not on the lineup. So that for me, it's like I'd rather just be there and get paid as a performer as well, because that's how I would do it. But I can't do that too often.
Yeah.
And we've got a ton of talent here. I mean, luckily I feel like I got even more people to meet because, I mean, I'm constantly hearing names I don't know when it didn't used to be like that 5
Yeah.
years ago. I used to felt like I knew everyone in the scene, but now I feel like I know very little.
I'm constantly, I have this great problem where somebody will text me and just be like, have you heard of them? And I'm like, no. Where did you watch them? Here? Okay. And then I just have to reach out to those people on social media. I'm like, hey, I run this podcast. Somebody told me you're funny. If you have any shows coming up, please let me know. I'm going to try to check something out.
If you ever see anyone that is just like, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you're in unless you're in front of me,
Yeah.
I'll forget.
Well, and it just sucks too. Like, we remember the old days of social media when your
Yeah.
algorithm wasn't corrupted and
Yeah.
you could just see everything. And it was
Everything.
beautiful. It was just chronological. And it's like, I saw what everyone posted today. That was
Mm-hmm.
nice. And now it's like, I can follow you for 5 years and I never see anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And it just drives me insane. And it's just a bummer. I mean, truthfully, what happens is I just see, I'll still go to like an open mic or something,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll go to somebody. What I like going to are those off night shows that a local comic puts on, and they're not a good enough comic yet where they've got connections to the great comics in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying out some of their friends who are new. And
Yeah.
that's usually where I'm seeing some of the new faces is like, okay, that person did 5 minutes. 3 of it was pretty rough. But
Mm-hmm.
that too is kind of interesting. Like that was a fun premise that they were on. They might dial that in soon. And then I'll go follow them, and it's like I'll try to keep my eye on them and just see like, do they progress or do they get discouraged and drop off? Because
Yeah.
now like people come and go fast. And
sometimes it's the people you wouldn't expect, they drop
Yeah.
off.
yeah. There's well, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to discourage them, but there was somebody who I was worried dropped off, and I think they're back in the game now. And it's like, okay, good. You had something that was funny, stay in there. But
Sometimes you got to take a break. It's hard though. It's hard to come back. Like it's hard to come back to like people who leave here and come back. I think they got a hard time getting back into it. Right?
yeah,
People. Sometimes you just got to take breaks from it. To me, this is like such a lifelong activity. Like I'm going to be like that geriatric woman at an open mic,
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like this is a lifestyle now. So that when I came to that conclusion, that took a lot of pressure off of me, right? Where it's just like, well, I'm going to be doing this no matter what. Now it's like, how do I make money to where,
yeah.
Yeah,
That's tough. But I don't know. I think you've got the mindset. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You're one of the few people I feel like I can relate to where it's like you have the people that you know within this comedy world, and it's like there's a way you can communicate with these people. It's so much fun, and it's just so it's like these people have real conversations. You know what I mean? It's like there's no boundaries. It's like, man, hanging out with some of these comics is just so much fun because it's not the stale conversation you have in this 9-to-5 professional world.
And that's where it gets
you're-
addicting.
Jesus, you're listening to these people at work or whatever talk.
Oh my God.
And there's like this, you will never guess what happened this weekend. And I'm like, I guarantee it's not as interesting as you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, well, I understand that was fascinating for you, but it's like once you're exposed to this world of misfit toys that are just fun and interesting, and it's like, man, it's like now you're just, I just go through the 9-to-5 stuff to afford the things I would like to do here. You know what I mean? And I totally think you got the right mindset for it because you know because of your professional experience now how to navigate those waters. And I don't know. I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made here, and I think if you are just like true to yourself and you stick to the thing, it's going to happen for you.
I just think there's a lot of people too that are doing it poorly.
Yeah.
And if a couple people come in and do it better, people will see how much better. I don't think the Dallas-Fort Worth comedy scene is truly aware of like just how good the potential is here with minor adjustments.
Yeah.
Very minor adjustments that like, hey, things have changed since the 90s. And if we pull a couple of these things up here into 2025, this comedy scene could be really insane.
Yeah.
Really insane. Because it blows my mind that at Dallas specifically, there is no reason, you know, Hyenas Dallas, Addison Improv, Dallas Comedy Club, Backdoor Comedy Club. There's no reason these places shouldn't be selling out shows on a Tuesday.
I know. I agree.
The infrastructure is here. The people are here. So it's like, what are we missing? Is that's why I want to talk to some of these comedy club owners. It's like, is it marketing? Like, tell me your perspective of what is so difficult about getting the butts in the seats or selling the tickets online? Do we need comics to promote more? Are the comics doing enough and the club needs to find avenues? Is it just too expensive? What is it? You know, because there's something like 7 million people here. I feel like we could sell 150 seats on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's no reason why they shouldn't. You really should. You should try and talk to all the club owners. You know,
there's several who are accommodating and we're trying to work out dates, but it's just, running your shows. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And the people who I want to talk to first who actually really care about their clubs, they seem to just be 12 hours a day running these clubs.
Yeah.
So to be like, hey, can I take like 2 to 3 hours of your time, please? It's a tough sell. But no, there's a couple other ones we're kicking dates around. We're trying to figure it out. And then like, have you got to go out to Tyler yet?
I haven't. They've asked me and I haven't been able to go, but I really want to get out there.
So like Christopher, it's like, he's so busy there. I don't think he's coming to Dallas anytime soon. So I'm literally going to have to pack up my stuff here and I'll probably just go to his club and interview him there. So right now I'm just trying to like, okay, what's a Saturday or something I can go out there, talk to him beforehand, and then just I'm out there, let's watch a show in the evening, because it's 2 hours. But that is one of the best clubs doing it right now.
Yeah, I've heard.
I mean, it's pretty, but again, it comes, I went to, did you ever go to his old locations? Okay, I didn't ever go to the first one, but I went to the second one. The first one, apparently, I saw pictures online.
Maybe I went to the first one.
The first one was like a hallway in a cell phone repair shop.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
And the second one that I went to was a little bit bigger. It held maybe 40 people, 50 people. And, but it's like, he was punching above his weight. Like he didn't have the nicest, best stuff, but he was doing everything he could with what he had. And it's like, God, I like that kind of person.
Yeah, I
like that. And then all of a sudden I'm assuming he got investors for this new club.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like, holy shit. He's pulling out like Mark Norman, Catherine Blanford, like these big names to Tyler, Texas. That's such an achievement. It's like, it's like, it seems so far away, but it's like, hey, DFW, you might need to watch out if this dude in East Texas is going to be caring about it this much. We might need to take a couple notes about how much we're going to care about what we're doing here too. It's like, it's all because
don't get stationary.
Yeah. And it's like, think of this beautiful pipeline of venues we might have where you just do this Texas tour from Oklahoma all the way down to Austin,
So easy.
Yeah. And it's like, if you can, we're cutting over here to East Texas. None of it's in a close enough radius that it's going to conflict with anything. Like everybody's going to win,
Yeah.
So
we're really lucky to be here,
It's a cool time in DFW comedy. And I think it's hard for people to grasp that, like, you're living in a moment that's changing forever.
Every day.
Like, this scene is growing, and you're in that growing part that you don't realize. It's like, later on, there's a good chance that there's going to be documentaries talking about, like, when Ralph Barbosa blew up, like, the scene was still kind of percolating. Like, it was still growing a little bit, and then it popped. And then all these people who we think are 10, 15, 18, 20-year people where it's like, well, I guess they just never got their shot. And it's like, over the next couple of years, some of these people might be popping off. And the whole scene finally starts to get recognized a little more. And that was it. And now it's set forever if you care about it.
Yeah. People need to understand it's like, it's not about going fast. It's about going far. So whatever you got to do to go far is what you need to do. And that's usually the not glamorous thing. That's usually the thing that makes you tired and make you wonder if it's worth it. And, all of that stuff. I mean, all this shit's hard. You're like these like crazy moments where it's just like a sold out show and it's the wildest thing and all that stuff. Like that doesn't happen super often for a lot of people, And you just have to like not get discouraged, but like that bigger picture, like I do kind of like, I'm excited for people who are moving away and going to bigger markets and testing the waters there. But there is a little part of me that I'm like, I wish you weren't leaving right now.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like,
well, and you hope like,
you hope
everything goes well. Like, I'll say it's like
you hope it's worth it for him.
I like Zach Webb, and he's going.
Love
up,
him.
He's going up to New York.
I know,
and it's like, man, I hope you get up there and you just thrive. But part of me is always going to be a little jealous. Like, I want you to be here and thrive. Like,
oh my God,
I want you to be the guy who came out of Dallas, not the guy who came out of New York.
Yeah,
you know, because he's so funny.
So funny.
You know,
he's like my number one feature to
really
him and Dez right now are my.
Yeah,
and I put I just because I can't have Des for every headlining show.
Well, but you know, you see it, right? We have these people with these more unique voices without being over the top.
Because it's hard in Austin, like you know, like there's some really great comics in Austin. I can't hire a lot of them. You know, it's a lot of like you know, just very shock type stuff.
Yeah, like we like her; she's from here, right? But Liz Splatt. Going to be tough in some of the rooms around here sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but she's thriving down in Austin right now.
She's thriving. But I just think that, you know, that's, and I don't know how that, you know, a part of me thinks that that whole culture like started there. Like obviously Kill Tony is wild and all of that stuff. But, you know, whenever everyone was getting canceled, like that market was the one that was fighting back the most. And I think that it was a very important thing that they did for us.
Well, I think
it saved free speech in some ways.
I don't think they meant to do it this way.
Yeah.
You're right. First of all, you're right. It's like they all were leaving places that were telling them they couldn't do that stuff, right? And that was an important move, whether you think about it that way for comedy or just as like a country, right? That was on a national stage. People were recognizing that. So I think part of the reason that comedy scene is a little edgier and wilder is it's like, you know, you had these people who were taking a risk. And it was in a rebellious move of like, well, fine, I'm leaving L.A. I'm leaving New York. I'm going. Fuck y'all. I'm tired of this.
Yeah. We'll make our own community. And they did.
So you had these people coming with that attitude here. Well, yeah, that's why that attitude is probably going to be a little more aggressive than like a Dallas-Fort Worth attitude. Because that's not how this scene started.
Well, they didn't have a whole lot of clubs down there, you know, not too long ago. Here, it's
they were privateers. They were, literally, they were finding bars and making space. I mean, that was what was interesting about having Brandon Lewin on here from Big Laugh is he was part of that too. He was producing some of those shows. And, you know, it's like the fact that a guy like that is somehow working with like Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Rogan tells you how that they, you know, like they were scrambling to find people like, who do you know? Okay, this guy puts on shows. Let's get him in here working on this too, because there was no venue built for it yet, you know? And what was the one down there? It closed. Was it like
Cap
City? Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't that close too at that time? So it's like one of their staples gone. And, you know, all of a sudden here's a spot where you can do it. And so it's like, yeah, that's why they're all a little wilder. And Texas is already a little wilder.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, come on. Austin's always been a place of conflict because of the liberal people and conservative people kind of blending. You know, you have all these liberals around a conservative capital. So it's always been a place of conflict for different reasons. And I mean, these people who are like, oh, they're just a bunch of edgelords down there. And it's like, look, it's not your thing. That's fine. But all the comedy scenes need to have their angle. You know, like it's important that they are the way they need to be down there. And we'll be the way we need to be up here. And if we can cross a little bit of that, I bet we're going to have some interesting stuff.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know? I don't want to see the same fucking comic every night.
No.
You know,
no.
I want to take a chance on, do I like Casey Rocket? I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, let's
see.
go watch.
I'd love to watch an hour to see if I'm into it, you know?
Have you seen him live?
No. I've just seen the Kill Tony stuff. And that's been my biggest thought is like, can you carry an hour set like that?
Because it's energy.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
like, would I be exhausted by the time I'm done with it? Or would I be fully locked in? Like, am I really watching a potential next Robin Williams? Or is this just kind of a novelty act? I don't know, but I'd love to see. I'd go in there with an open mind going, here's a style of comedy I haven't seen, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let them do all their weird shit down there. What's the harm?
I would like to. Oh, there's no harm.
Yeah.
And actually, it's great. Like, I mean, every time I go down there, it's on a Tuesday. It's packed out.
Well, I'm like, some of our people up here, it's like Liz Splatt, Tony Casillas. Oh, my God. Why am I blanking on this name? Tall guy from Louisiana.
Oh, my God. Why am I blanking on his name? Fuck. No, he's so funny.
Doesn't he have a mustache?
Yes,
And,
yes. Oh my God, I'm gonna get on my phone.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
think
Go ahead.
about it.
It'll come to me in a minute. But people from our
I'm gonna
scene,
feel like an idiot when I figure this out.
people from our scene who were doing okay, but maybe weren't getting. Tony, I think, was getting some slots in the clubs around here. I don't know
Tony
about.
was working quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know about Liz and oh my God, that guy's name's right on the edge of my mind right
Dude,
now.
I know.
Because he was a super nice guy. I'd watched him at a couple different things around here. And right when I was
he's
getting
so
ready to
funny.
invite him on the show, he was moving down to Austin. I was like, dang, good for him. And then I believe they're all regulars in the scene down there.
They
now,
are.
and they're doing really well. And it's like fucking
They're all
good
door
for them.
guys for sure. CJ Landry.
Thank you, CJ
I
Landry.
know. God,
Yes.
he's so fucking funny. Sorry, CJ.
Yeah.
I cannot believe we both did that.
Yeah. But Philip Garcia doing his it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm happy that they're doing well down there, but I want DFW to be a scene where people like that don't feel like they need to leave.
Well,
know?
and I feel like that's like, maybe it takes something like, Kill Tony was a podcast. Now it's this crazy show. Maybe we need something like that. Like
Kill Tony's a great example. Like, whether you like that show or not.
No, it's brilliant.
He started in a small fucking room with nobody. Right? He did what you did. What is your off night? I think he was doing Monday nights or something.
Yeah.
And how long has Kill Tony been running now?
I have no idea.
It's definitely over a decade. I just can't remember exactly how long. Let's see. How long? But they're doing fucking. He went from that small room to Madison Square Garden.
It's amazing.
Madison Square Garden. Are
It's
you
inspiring.
kidding me? And so to think, it started in 2013.
Yeah.
2013.
And honestly, I know it's been big for a while. It's been touring for a while, but I just feel like on this like world stage, it's just in the last 5 years probably.
Well, the fact that he was even considered for a speech at a presidential rally.
I know they fucked him with that.
But I'm just saying the fact that he was even considered for that tells you how big the show became.
Oh my gosh, he's got power, real power.
And it's like, look, love him or hate him, he's relevant. And
he's good. He's also like, love him or hate him, he's one of the best roasters of our lifetime. Like he's a good comic. People want to hate him for that because he's got this wild show. But like, I've seen him before he got big for this.
Well, and I just think that's an immaturity thing, right? It's like if you and me talk like this for 12, 14, 16 hours, we're going to find things we disagree on.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
It's like my own wife, we don't agree. Like, why would I assume that I would agree with every single thing from a comic?
Because you don't have enough to do.
Yeah, you need some emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Right? And then to, it's like the Pung thing, for instance. It's like, look, I like Pung. I like Tony.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks, hey, not the best idea to go up there and say that particular slur. Okay? I know Tony Hinchcliffe, and you're coming from this angle of he's more of a shock comic. He's going to go for those moments, right? And I get it. I also think it's like there's probably more to that relationship that I'll never understand between him and Pung. I don't know. And all I'll ever get is one side of the story. What I do know is that I've never had a personal grievance with either of them. And a lot of that's none of my business. And at the same time that I think like a person like him, hey man, you definitely shouldn't have gone for that racial slur. You're right. I'm also the same person that thinks the South Park episode where Randy Marsh says the N-word on Wheel of Fortune is one of the most hilarious episodes and one of the most intelligent commentaries on like how the public can interact with you. It's like, so how am I going to sit here and go like the South Park people are geniuses when they've done so many offensive things that, right? And then this guy goes for it, and I'm just going to go like it's all or none. You're out for it. And it's like, no. Look, they had their thing. He dropped the ball in some ways. Pung dropped the ball in some ways, and ultimately, it's like that's not really any of my business.
Yeah,
it's not my business.
It's theirs.
What I do know is Pung seems to be doing well.
He is. He's doing really well.
Tony Hinchcliffe's doing great. And like, I still like turning on Kill Tony because every now and then through the sea of madness and crazy characters, there's a new comic where I'm like, holy shit, that person is funny. Like, who's the, I'm blanking on names so bad right now. He's a regular. He's from Europe.
From Estonia?
Estonia, yes.
God,
Ari Matty.
Ari Matty, yeah.
I never would have heard that guy anywhere else. And he's a killer.
Yeah,
hilarious. And like a very unique style. It's almost like he's doing a Estonian Fuck,
Like Seinfeld. I feel like it's like this Estonian kind of blue Seinfeld because it's like his cadence is like so, it's like slow and set up, and then he says something that just makes sense.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if I haven't got enough sleep. This guy's one of the most famous comics. He's the guy who wears all the leather. He's still
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, he seems like an Estonian modern Andrew Dice Clay.
I love that.
Weird, confident cadence. I said to the girl, like
he's
got this weird
That's
bravado.
better than Seinfeld for sure.
But that's the thing is, he's a mix of all these influences, and that's what I want to see. Is like that's something original. And I know it's interesting because there's a lot of people who really don't like it. And, you know, it's like if he's not up there just being, like if he's not just getting on stage and be like, fuck you, you know, then and you don't like it.
Hey, if it's funny, you can say anything.
Well, that's what I mean. But it's like, unless he was just up there berating the crowd the whole time and there was no punchline, it's like, oh, I get why you hate him. But if you just don't like his jokes, it's like, that seems like a skilled guy. And that the fact that he's coming up there on a weekly basis with really good material. And I've been to enough open mics now to see people work on the same material for 6 months when it's not landing. And it's like, and this guy's doing it weekly? That's a talented person. And I never would have heard of him if it wasn't for this platform. So it's like, what do you can't love all or hate all of it. It's like, it's just, comedy's a weird thing.
Well, and that just goes for people, right? Like,
like
people really they will base their whole like mental health on someone liking someone that they don't. You know what I mean? It's a
weird.
Very weird thing. And that's what I'm like, God, you just don't have enough to do. Like,
yeah. Have you seen this Texas politician, James Tallarico? I'll have to send him to you. He's a very interesting character because he's a Democrat in Texas. And he's extremely religious. But his extremely religious opinions right now are about how he doesn't believe the 10 Commandments should be put up in schools, because he believes that'll push people further from religion, and his goal is to get as many people like turned into Christians as he can. So it's this very unique character of like, you're a liberal Democrat in the state of Texas, you're against the 10 Commandments being in the classrooms, but it's because you would like to convert more people. And he's speaking it all from this very, mannered, just well-tempered, intelligent perspective. And he was speaking out against the vouchers that they were wanting to do, where you would get a voucher to go to a private school, which sounds great, except it's only going to go to wealthy people who are already going to private schools.
Yeah.
It's not going to go where, I'm not going to be able to send my kid to a private school. And he was saying, like, we shouldn't be taking taxpayers' money who will never see the benefit and then put them in this system. So it's just this blend of left and right that I really appreciate. And he's on, excuse me, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. And so some of my relatives who are more liberal, I was like, hey, you should listen to this guy. I was like, he's a Democrat with some conservative views. I was like, it's a very interesting conversation. I don't know if you're going to like him, but you might enjoy it. You should check it out. I think this guy could make a run for governor or something. So it's interesting. And they were instantly like, oh, it's on Rogan?
I know,
and I'm like,
I hate that.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like, because what I will say too, like Rogan and Kill Tony, I like both of them, but even if I wasn't doing this show, I just like their shows. But especially now as somebody who's been doing a podcast for a little while, seeing the way that both of those guys can interview people,
it's very talented.
And keep things on the rails is just wildly impressive. Tony especially, you're on a fucking circus show.
A circus show.
And you're keeping everything, and the wit is there, and he's just keeping it rolling. I watched them live in Fort Worth when it was Joel Jimenez and Jeremiah Watkins in the band, when the show was still a little smaller. They were big, but they were doing Hyenas Fort Worth. So, and I was watching, there was this moment where a girl with alopecia came on stage to do stand-up. And in the interview, they were talking about how she had alopecia, she was wearing a wig. Joel, the drummer, is bald, and he was wearing a wig because they were like 80s comedians or something. So he had like a ridiculous wig. As soon as she said the word wig, it's like I had this wonderful moment where normally I wouldn't have observed it. I would have had too many beers or something. I don't know. But I just caught Joel and Tony looking at each other and nodding, like they just instantly connected on this thing when she said wig. And then the second after that look, Tony got on the mic and was like, why don't y'all go behind the curtain and you and Joel switch wigs? And it's like, they didn't even say a word. They just knew we're about to do the wig swap, right? And it's like, that kind of hosting is incredible.
It really is.
And it's like, if you can't even appreciate that aspect of it, I don't know what to tell you. Same with Rogan. It's like he's interviewed over 2,000 episodes
And they're
now.
from all, like, that's where no one is giving.
He's a master interviewer.
He's a master interviewer, and he has everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like.
He had Donald Trump. He had Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And I want to hear both of them. Even if I
100%.
I liked Bernie Sanders, but it's like, I don't like 100% of Bernie Sanders, but I thought he had a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, it's like, I don't really like Trump, but maybe there's a couple ideas I really do like, and I should hear this guy. You know, and so it's like, I'm going to listen to Trump. I'm going to listen to J.D. Vance. It's like, these people are important figures in the social climate.
Why not listen to them for 3 hours? I mean, 3 hours is like a long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I just feel like he's very fair. Like in his, like, he will challenge you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just based on like what is gut. And I just think because it's kind of crazy. Like Theo Von has kind of gotten pushed in. I hear that they're Nazis, crazy, right wing, all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, like these people had no idea they would become political.
Yeah. Well, Theo Von, right? Mm-hmm. Great comic. Like everything about the guy, you know, like funny. I just saw a clip the other day where now I don't even listen to his podcast, but now I'm going to go have to find this episode because he was interviewing a woman who was discussing the issues with pornography and Pornhub specifically. Mm-hmm. And in this little clip, you know, it's Theo Von, and we're having a professional discussion about, she's talking about how all of these porn sites are essentially owned by one major company, right? And the whole idea is they're selling ad revenue. That's all it's about, is ad revenue. And they were talking about the volume of moderators that they had to make sure that you're not having like underage or non-consensual pornography uploaded, right? Like maybe two people decided to make a tape together in the privacy of their home, and then when they separated, one of them decided like, oh, I could make a little bit of money by putting this up here for them. And it wasn't, both people didn't sign off on it, right? And this woman said that like Facebook has something like, you know, 10 or 15,000 moderators to determine if their content breaks in, you know, violates any rules. And excuse me, I don't remember.
I think I've got a lozenge if you want one.
Oh, yeah, if you do, thanks. But I don't know if it was Pornhub or if it was that larger conglomerate, but they had something like 30 or 40 people compared to like 15,000.
Wow.
And so it's like, why is Theo Von's podcast exposing maybe some of the pitfalls? And it's like, look, I'm liberal. I believe you should be able to watch all that stuff, do whatever. I don't worry about it. I believe you should be able to watch all that stuff, do whatever you want. But it's also important to know, like, we want to make sure if you're going to have something like that, it's all above board all the time, you know, and that no one's being violated in any way.
Yeah.
Why am I learning about that on Theo Von's podcast?
Well, that's the thing, because like our mainstream media is a joke,
right?
You know, like this is the only place that you can actually get some like what you see is what you get with these people. Like them or hate them, but anything the mainstream news says, I'm always taking with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
Like I listen to Breaking Points, and I like it because they've got people on the left, people on the right. Really, why I love it is not only are they intelligent, but when they disagree, which is frequent, it's always very civil. It's very mature in how they go about it. Yeah. It's very easy to listen to, but also they have never made anything off of any marketing. They've never had a marketing budget. It's all just subscribers, and they're really doing the most, and it's awesome. But so it's like when I hear these things like this person's a Nazi, this person's a narcissist, there's this, it's like, it's too quick, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you know the meaning of that word? Like,
yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, those are such bold claims.
Big. And that's where we've come as a society.
To me, that's like saying, like, that person raped that person. It's like, hey, I'm not saying we should discount anyone's claim. I'm just saying that is super serious.
Yeah.
So if we're going to say it, let's get the police involved. Let's go about this the right way, because
words hold weight.
That's a crime. Like that if that person was raped, someone needs to go to jail. This is a horrible thing. And it's like, if that person's really a Nazi, that's a serious, if you know, but it's just cool to say like fascist Nazi.
It's just cool.
It's like, oh, come on. It's like, please have a little bit more adult maturity. Is this person really racist and taking opportunities away from people based on, you know, character traits like that, identity trait? I don't think so.
Well, and
I think they just have a different thought process on how things would improve. You know? Well,
and that's the thing. I really do believe that the majority of this country is like pretty like me. I am a swayable candidate. Mm-hmm. I am not loyal to either party.
Same.
If someone is saying something, I will switch parties. I've voted both ways, and I voted independent before. Like, And I think the majority of the population is in this middle lane, either a little to the left or the little to the right.
Yeah.
But I hear, and even just like, I hear people say, like, I hear intelligent people who I respect, that I take their advice very seriously, calling, everybody who voted for Trump is a Nazi.
Right.
Everybody who voted for Kamala is, like whatever it is. And it's just like, and it's very frustrating because it's like, these words hold weight, and we are doing ourselves a disservice talking like that. Like, let's like talk like we're a first world country, Yeah,
let's talk like,
adults.
Yeah. Because look, there are a lot of things I dislike about Trump that I think makes him a flawed candidate, right?
100%.
But I also am really upset because I felt like Bernie should have got the nomination when he ran. I felt like they crammed down Hillary, Biden. And then I think it's crazy that not enough people talk about how Kamala Harris was not primaried.
Dude.
And, look, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm independent, but it's like, Democrats, I'm looking for somebody to vote for.
Dude.
Can you give me someone to vote for, please?
And that's what no one is talking about is like, okay, where is like the apology to us as a Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not that I firmly believe that the majority of people, unless you are full-blown MAGA, nobody wanted to vote for Trump,
No,
or
I think there's a very small group that wanted, but...
But there was just this thing, the Democrats have like taken the democracy out of it. And that's where I get frustrated because it's like exactly what you said. Why didn't we have a primary? Okay, Biden's like too old to be doing this. Like, why can't we just like back it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Get somebody up there to vote. Because I honestly felt like we could have turned that shit around.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think Tulsi Gabbard as a Democrat would have been an incredible candidate compared to Kamala Harris, right?
100%.
That would have had my Democratic vote, please. Like, if you would have told me it was Tulsi Gabbard with Bernie Sanders as a VP, I'm all in. I'm all in on that, because it's just a balanced thing. But they pushed both of those people out of the party. I think Bernie's still technically a Democrat, or I don't know. No, he's always been an independent who works with Democrats. But that was their turning point for me. I was like, holy cow. Like, that was my first candidate that I was very excited about.
Me too.
Bernie. And that was the first and only political thing I've ever gone to. Like, we went to hear him speak at the Sheraton Hotel here in downtown.
Oh, nice.
And then we went to hear him again at the Verizon in Grand Prairie. So you had like, I don't know what that place holds, 6,000 people out there.
Yeah, probably.
That was like the only large political thing I've ever been to. And it was, when you're hearing this guy talk about things like how we're a rich nation and healthcare should be affordable, and he was wanting to overturn Citizens United, which allows corporations to donate to politicians. And it's like Republican, Democrat, Independent, we all win if you do that.
Yeah.
Everybody wins. Think of all these Republican candidates that would probably be amazing, that even more liberal people would appreciate. But they can't even get their name in the spotlight because they have to worry about the donors.
Yeah.
Right? How many great ideas are we missing from both parties because they're being held down by these political donors that all control everything?
It's ruining our country.
Ruining it, right? So if he didn't do anything else for his entire presidency, but he could have gotten that overturned, the country would benefit from that.
Oh my gosh, it would be a different place.
Yeah. And so I was so inspired. I was like, this is the guy. Like, this is going to be one of those moments in history. And then when the primary comes up and you realize the super-delegates can just vote however they want, and they want Hillary.
It's very deflating.
And that's when the last little bit of kind of blind optimism left me, where I was like, that was it. Like, that was a rigged thing. Like, the people of this party were so ready for this move, but the corporations that donate to this Democratic Party knew he was going to come after bankers and other things, and they said, no, not that guy.
Yeah.
Because for you to not even throw him as a VP with Hillary,
it's total
you picked
bullshit.
this other random whoever it was. I mean, that was the move, right? Like, I know y'all wanted Bernie, we're bringing him on as a VP, and it's like, okay, I might be back. I might be back. I might be back in on this.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just snubbed it and were like, not a chance, Bernie. Like,
I
dang.
know.
And so you realize it's like, okay, it's all super corrupt. We're all waiting for the better candidate on either side. So when you see all that types of stuff go down, and you don't understand why someone who's in the middle of the road might vote for Trump, like, you can't even find a shred of how they might have done it. I don't know what to tell you.
It's delusional.
I don't know what to tell you. It's like the amount of people who are like, look, he's not my first choice, but I can't do this. And it's like, yeah, no, I understand that. Like every single adult human being has to make those decisions.
Well, and even if it's like, even if you don't see it, right? Like you just have to believe that, humanity as a whole is inherently good. You know what I mean? Like when you say things like everybody who voted for Trump is a Nazi, like that's very limiting behavior.
Well, look, maybe I'm an old school liberal, right? And it's like, it's weird. Like now, like if I've told people I'm more liberal, they're like, yeah, but you're not progressive. Like,
there's all these different words.
Well, it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, I grew up in the 90s and 2000s. Okay. We were people who pioneered like gay rights and things like we were people who, you'd be at a concert and you'd see gay people and you're like, oh, okay. Like we didn't care about that kind of stuff. We were pioneers in our generations for like interracial relationships being a more normal thing. Right. And I'm one of those people who are like, hey, when you say everyone's a Nazi or everyone's a fascist, that sounds like what like racist people would say. When you say like everyone is a something, isn't that what we've always been trying to avoid? Like, no, everyone has unique and nuanced opinions, and we should take each individual for how they are. I thought that was the whole thing. So like, yeah, to say like everyone who voted for this or voted for that is well, that's a really bigoted, simple belief. I just can't get behind that. And it's just so strange to see like a more progressive and liberal mindset, like what used to be there, is now turning into a very aggressive, hateful mindset. And it's like, man, that's not what it was about. Like I grew up loving like punk rock music, which was always more liberal. And it was always about being inclusive. It was always like, it's like, oh, you're this, you're that, whatever. We're here for music. Like, come on in, And now it seems more towards like, if you don't adhere to these rules, you're out. And it's like, that's a weird backwards way. That's never what I thought a liberal would be. And they're like, well, we're progressive. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to try to be cool with people as often as possible, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like everybody's going through all their own shit, and we should just try to get along as best we can.
Exactly.
And appreciate that we're flawed. It's like now, honestly, the only person I really am looking up to now is Dolly Parton.
So she's a safe one.
I mean, every time I see her in an interview, she's just talking about being kind to people, and like she's like, I don't know, I'm not perfect. Why would I judge these people? Everybody could judge me. And it's like, fuck, I guess I'm going to try to be more like Dolly Parton.
Yeah. I mean, it's just limiting. Like for me, it's like if you aren't, hurting me, stealing from me, or fucking kids or animals, like I don't really care what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can do your own thing. I'm just going to keep living my life as it is.
Yeah.
But
well, and like some of the conservative things that people really hate on conservatives about, it's like if you really think about it, like for me, a changing moment was the gun debate where people were talking about like we got to ban them. We got to get rid of them. And I felt that way for a while. I was like, you're right. Like a world where we could get rid of this would be a great solution. We don't want mass shootings. We don't want school shootings. Everyone wants to get rid of that. But then I think about my mindset on drugs. I don't believe banning drugs has stopped people from being addicted to drugs.
No, the war on drugs failed.
Right. And I've come to a more, the opinion of it needs to be legal and regulated.
Yeah. And
it's like, I have no desire to do heroin, but I feel like maybe heroin should be legal and should be sold through a process where people know 100% what is in it. And then we should also have a really comprehensive education program to go like, heroin is legal, but some people get horrifically addicted to it and they die and it ruins their entire life. And very few people can use it recreationally and have a successful life. But it's there, and this is America, and because it's like you can go buy as much alcohol as you would like right now. And we saw in Prohibition that what happened is when it wasn't regulated, not only did people still get it, but people would get versions of it that would kill you.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening right now. No one can fucking do cocaine anymore because it's not Coke.
So I think it's bourbon, right? Bourbon is specifically like Tennessee, right? Because when Prohibition, I guess, was ending, it's labeled bourbon because there's strict ways on how it has to be made. Like you can only use the barrel one time, and then it's got to have a certain ingredients can go into it. It's got to be a certain amount of each thing. But then you can choose like the barrels and stuff to make your flavors, right? And that's why it's called bourbon. Because, like people were taking barrels that were used for paint or something and making alcohol in it during Prohibition. And I believe that's where like all this stuff like, oh, if you drink that, you'll go blind. because you might have had a barrel with these crazy fucking chemicals in it. When you
Yeah.
drank it, people were like getting sick and dying and getting hurt. So they're like, no. This is going to be called bourbon. And so when you see the bourbon label and then it came out of Tennessee and came through this process, you know it's safe. And it's like, but you can still get drunk and get behind the wheel of a car and kill somebody. And so it's like the thing is, you got to at least people aren't dying because there's a weird chemical in the drink that they, if you're a responsible drinker and you're like, I don't know, is there fentanyl in my whiskey?
Yeah.
You don't have that
You don't
concern.
have to worry about that.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't think people should do all these drugs.
No.
But I think if you made it legal and you had it regulated and you had a really comprehensive education process that started like in high school or middle school even, that one, you'd remove the taboo. People wouldn't want to do as much. Like, people wouldn't try these crazy things. They're not illegal. Whatever. Two, I think you'd take away all this power from these cartels.
100%. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
The cartels are running this country, I feel like.
And it's like, and then three, we're Texas. Don't we want to make a little tax revenue?
No shit.
Like, that's
Look what
we're,
Colorado did.
Like, let's get some of that money here and keep Texas amazing. You know? I do think if Greg Abbott hadn't have, I don't really care for him, but I don't think he cares about drugs. I don't think he cares if they were legal or not. I think he's just built his career around a fundamentalist religious vote.
Yeah.
And so he has to take stances now.
Yeah.
But I think that guy would 100% legalize things and take that money because he's a businessman like that. And so it's like, I wish there was some way where he had the courage to like switch his voting base. But I think he's done so much damage now. I don't think he'll ever change. And so that's why I get excited when I see like a guy like James Tallarico. It's like, man, are you going to make a governor run? Because you've got a lot of traits that I'm normally not into. But I really like that you speak with this amount of intelligence and you're kind of viewing the bigger picture. It's like he's like, I am extremely religious and I believe people should be Christians, but I 100% believe in a full separation of church and state.
Yes.
Your government doesn't decide your religion. It's like, that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Just an adult opinion here.
Literally.
Like just an adult thought process. And then when people say things like that, it's like, oh, well, he'll never win. It's like, well, I don't know. And I don't know if he's going to run or not, but give me a balanced person.
Yeah. And I think that, I'm glad that he went on Rogan. I'm going to have to listen to that.
It's good, yeah. I mean, he's a heavy religious guy, and I don't really care for religion at all.
Me either.
I'm like, well, I don't know, man. I think that's much bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's not cramming it down your throat,
No, I mean, the fact that he wants to take it out of schools, I think is great. And that it's just like, I'm not, like, people will come. Right?
Right.
Like, I don't need to force this on people because then it just gets taken out. There's opportunists, right? And that's where it's like, when religious people become opportunists and it's just like...
Well, we've seen countless times where it goes bad because people want to manipulate people with power. And it's like, if you can pull that part out of religion, there's a lot of amazing things, I mean, it's just like we're talking about with these comedy shows. It's like, if you just show people that this is a good experience, that your evening was better for this, they're probably going to return.
Yeah, that is.
And you don't have to do a lot. It's just like, do you have a good time? Yeah. Nice people? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go back.
Yeah, it's very simple. That's the thing. People want to be entertained. They want life to be easy. They want to get what they pay for. They want, that's all they want, right?
Yeah.
And they just don't need this craziness around them. Because that's, to me, like, what's the most unsettling is it's very chaotic. When you are like living and dying on one hill, like, that's a little bit, it's a little nerve-wracking for me to be around you. If you are, I just can't, it's a dangerous mindset. We need to live in the gray a little bit. There's so much black and white and the gray is where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, I think now, we've been alive long enough to see where, like, other people as well as me, probably you, like, you had a surefire opinion. Like, you knew you were right. I knew I was right about that. And then 5 or 6 years later, you're like, fuck, I think I had that all wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think I had that all wrong. I think I might have been kind of a douchebag about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now you start to realize, like, oh, okay, I don't need to be 100% sure on too many things because it's just all so, like, I love now how people are trying to say that, they'll say things. They're like, "Don't be a Joe Rogan, be a Bill Burr," and it's like, I love Bill Burr, but
what does that mean?
They believe Bill is a more left-leaning vocal person than Rogan.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, Yeah, I listen to both their podcasts, and I'm pretty sure these guys are longtime friends.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
And it's like, I can like some opinions from both of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm sure they both know that they agree on things and disagree on things, and there's probably no beef between them at all. So what are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
You know? But people want these categories, you know? They just have a hard time.
It's hard because it's like I think people are overthinking a lot of stuff. Like what I've learned to do in recent years is like really trust my body. Like when I meet someone, if you know, they say someone's got a bad energy, right? Like you really got to trust that. Your body's always going to tell you. Your mind's going to trick you, but your body's going to tell you the truth. And it's just like when I hear something, if it just kind of feels off, like I'd have to trust that.
Yeah.
You know, but if I feel relaxed and I'm hearing this, because I have a lot of. I'm blessed to have a lot of very logical, realistic friends on both sides of the political party. And I really enjoy talking with them, even if I totally disagree with them. If it's someone who I think is intelligent, whatever, I enjoy that conversation.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even really want to chime in. I just kind of want to listen.
Yeah. That's probably the difference, right? Is if you know this is a smart person with an opinion that was based off of real thought rather than just like
emotion,
a talking point that they heard on a headline on their favorite news site that's biased and they don't want to admit it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I think Jon Stewart is hilarious and I like a lot of his stuff.
Me too.
But if you watch that show and don't think there's a little bit of bias, you know, that maybe it's also a show that needs ratings. It's like, I think he's a man who's done incredible things. Like, did you hear about all the stuff he did with the 9/11 survivors?
Was it something about the, like maybe a cancer treatment or something?
Yes. So a lot of the first responders had inhaled horrible things from the towers collapsing. You know, it might have just been as simple as like dust, like concrete dust, you know, and then a bunch of other things. But there was at one point where a lot of their treatment was not going to be covered. I don't know if they were going to lose benefits or if it was just something the government was paying for and now they were going to stop. And he was just individually going one by one to representatives who were going to vote against that to take that away and was having conversations. And he'd bring a couple first responders and he was having civil things like, you know, don't you think they need this and blah, blah, blah. And he was just slowly flipping votes. And it's like, that's how you do it. So even though I believe his show probably has bias and he probably goes over the top a few times, it's like, that's still a good guy.
Yeah.
And I want to listen to him to see what he's saying. That's a smart, well-intentioned person.
Well, and he actually did that, not just with 9/11. He did that with people who are soldiers who are coming back from the Middle East because they had a lot of, they're like those burning pits where they're just burning everything. Yeah. Well, those soldiers kind of had the same thing.
Maybe I was confusing it. I don't know if he did both. I might have been confusing it. But either way. Point is, it's like he's fighting for these people. It's like, look, I'm not a pro-war person. I think we should not be going to war. I think
100%.
it's crazy to send people over there and just... You know, but if you are a person who wants to enlist and fight for your country, you should get a fucking golden ticket that says when you get out, you get whatever medical care you need anywhere you would like to go. You shouldn't have to be limited to like a VA or something. It's like if you live in Dallas and you want to go to Parkland or UT Southwestern or Presbyterian or medical, whatever your thing is that you want to go to, you should just go, yeah, I've got the golden ticket thing because I served in the military.
Yeah.
It's like, fantastic. Thanks. Appreciate it. Instead of just all the, you know, the like, well, we lived through 9/11. It's like, support your troops. It's like, yeah, I bet that magnet did a whole lot for this person with PTSD.
Yeah, they're in poverty.
Yeah.
You know, they're homeless.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are.
And it's
like,
what about, you know, that golden ticket thing? It's like, the problem is it's too close to socialism. They don't want to do it. But the reality is if you're a military person, police officer, firefighter, if you're anybody who could die doing a public service, you should have that kind of treatment. That should be the perk of the job. It's like, yeah, I put my life on the line, but they take care of me. And you know,
they take care of me. I can buy a house.
Yeah.
I can buy some medical care.
Have you heard about like EMTs, for instance? The people driving the ambulances? I always thought that EMTs were like, you crash your car, right? Think of an EMT. You crash your car, you flipped it, you're bleeding, your arm's broken or something, you're in a ditch, right?
Yeah.
And you're just waiting, like minutes are going by. Someone called 911, but it's like 3, 4, 5 minutes. These are probably the longest minutes of your life. Somebody runs up, they see your arm's bleeding horribly, and they tie it off, and they save you from bleeding out in the ditch right there, right? And so I always thought, like, this is like peak
high level shit.
High level, like life or death, you know? And I found out that these EMTs who do these things, it's like that's considered like a low entry level job. So those people, like I had a buddy, he went through, and this has been a while, so pay rates might have changed, but he went through an EMT school, and a lot of times they do the, he was telling me they did the 24 on, 48 off, I think.
Yeah.
And he had 2 jobs, so he'd be working 48 hours straight. And I was like, why are you doing that, man? What are you doing? Like, you got a good job. Why not just work the one? And he was telling me they were making like $13 an hour.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Life-saving, like first of the first responders. They're the first on scene. Yeah. And to think that isn't just one of the most high-paid jobs.
Does my hair look crazy?
You got a little sticking up. Just pull it back. Maybe pull the headphones back a little.
Still there.
Yeah, it's better. But anyway, like, how is that not a job that makes at least, 80, 90,000 a year? You're saving people on this. It should be more than that even, right?
Yeah, 6 figures.
Should be, right? Like, you are deciding if they make it or not by your skill level. Don't we want the highest skilled people there? And I'm not saying the ones we have now are unskilled. It's just it's hard to motivate a highly skilled person to stay in a low paying job.
Well, and exactly. And so that goes with cops. And it's like, yeah, we've got these yahoos signing up to be cops.
Yeah.
We need to make this like a coveted job. Like we need to make this something that it's like our lives are in their hands. We can actually trust them. Let's get them some more education.
Well, that's like, look, we know people even within the comedy scene who are like, they're like, have you seen the ACAB, All Cops Are Bastards? Mm-mm. That's like a fun little, like, if there's a thing that comes up on, if a actual bad cop, shot and killed someone, it'll be like ACAB, All Cops Are Bastards.
Oh, okay.
And so then, like, good cops are called that too. And it's like, whoa, this is that generalization thing. This is that stuff that I don't like as a more liberal person, where you're saying everyone is something. Stop.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we don't want cops killing people.
Yeah.
Either. Okay. And a lot of the cops, the majority of the cops don't want to kill people.
Yeah.
The way you get those shitheads out that are the horrible ones is, like you said, you do 2 things, right? You increase the pay, you make it a coveted position, not a position of power, a position that will put you in a really great position in your life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you make the bar to entry so fucking high that those losers who just want to be on a power trip could never make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just make it hard, and you make the state like, you have to have this amount of training, this amount of education. Maybe it's going to take you 5 years of something to even be considered to be a police officer.
Yeah.
That'll weed out so many fucking people.
Yeah.
And if you bump the pay up, you won't have a shortage. The people we have a friend who's a detective, and he deals with sex crimes.
Wow.
Horrific stuff, and we've talked to him about, like, Jesus, man, like, why? Why do you want to see all that horrific stuff? And it was just a very simple, like, I feel like it's my calling, and like somebody's got to get them, and I'm a person who can do it, and I got to do it.
Because there's like so much PTSD and so much all the stuff that goes with it. Like, it needs to be something that's taken serious, and we need to be able to trust these people, right? And I back the blue. I am very, like, I don't know if I want to say like pro cop, but it's like I respect it. I grew
You're
up
pro
with
good cops.
Yeah, pro good cops.
Yeah.
I've ran into some bad cops, and I, what that has taught me is like how to act if I'm getting pulled over and whatever. And honestly, I'm a white pretty girl, so it's not gonna be that bad. But it's like this respect that we need to have for it.
Well, it's like, look, we live here in Dallas. If there were no cops in Dallas,
well, it's already short. They already don't, like, 911 sometimes never picks up your call.
Well, I joke around. I'm like, one of the perks of living here is, like, I don't think I'm ever going to get a speeding ticket. If I'm not shooting a gun out the window while I'm speeding, no one's pulling me over here. Yeah. And, so it's like, jokingly, that's fun. Haha. But also it's like, I like this city. I'm very happy here. The thought of not having any police, absolutely not. Not saying people who don't have kids, but it's just like, sometimes I lay in bed at night and I go check the front door like 3 times to make sure I locked it. And we live in the same neighborhood. We live in a nice neighborhood, low crime neighborhood. There's no issues where we live. But I still think, like, oh my God, if something were to happen to these two.
Dude, but it was always in that neighborhood where nothing like this would happen,
Yeah, and it's
these
like,
freaks walk among us.
Well, and there's people who look for opportunities.
Yep.
And it's like having professional respectful law enforcement that follow the law to the T, you want that.
Yeah.
You don't want them profiling and causing problems and ruining people's lives, but you do want them finding actual bad people, you know? And it's, you don't want, man, one of the songs I love, they didn't intend it to be this way, and they're probably anti-cop people, but this No Effects song that I loved was called The Idiots Are Taking Over. And one of the lines was, it's funny because it was written by a liberal punk rock band, and you could probably play it for conservatives who would feel like it was for them. Because it's just about like the dumb people outbreeding the smart people and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's funny how like depending on where you're from, if you didn't know anything about the song, you would probably identify with it on both sides. But one of the lines is, you want to follow. He's talking about fish. He's like, you want to follow the school into the net because swimming alone at sea is not the kind of freedom that you actually want. You know, it's like if you really were just out there in the open and anyone could attack you and hurt you and murder you and take your stuff, it's like nobody wants to live in that.
No.
You know, it's like even these Second Amendment gun-loving, you know, stereotyped nut jobs, it's like they like rules because they know without the rules, it's like eventually you're not going to have a big enough gun. Someone's going to take you over.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a way someone can take your stuff from you. So it's like you don't want to live in fear, but you do want rules. You know, rules. Some rules are very, very good. You know, I mean, the thought of being like all cops are bastards. We don't need any cops. It's like, man, fuck you. I don't want that at all.
And what's so hard about it is like, you know, these people not only have they seen some shit, but it's like every time they walk up to a car, are they going to get their face blown off?
It's real scary.
I mean, seriously, like they can't see. They're in the blind spot. Like that alone every day is so scary. Like,
and it's easy to go like train them, and it's like, man.
Dude, it's more than training. It's a mindset.
It's like the split-second decision to decide if someone behind that tinted window has a gun. It's like, look, I'm in Texas. I would love to have that super dark tint on my front windows just to keep my car cool.
Yeah.
But I understand why we have a law that says you can't have that because you need to be able to see sometimes what's going on.
Yeah, there's a reason why they have that rule.
Yeah, it's like I understand. And it's like that's part of living in society, right? Is going, there's some compromise, you know? You know, it would be great if you could just like take a huge cannon and shoot it in your front lawn every day. But it's not great for the person a couple blocks over when a cannonball goes through their house.
No,
you know, like we need some rules. But I don't know. I think we're lucky living in Texas where we have that balance.
We're so lucky. And I really realized how lucky I was during COVID because like, I mean, yeah, Addison Improv was the first club in the country to open up and that was like end of May.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 30%, you know, and I feel like, you know, I don't really like Abbott. I do like how he handled COVID in that, you know, and now I'm saying this as someone who did not get hurt. You know, I've got my viewpoint, right?
Sure.
But yeah, it was really nice to go to some place, just to go outside and be encouraged to go out. And I don't really know what the stats are, if people got more sick after that or what, but I know that I don't know. I feel so lucky to be here. There's such an element of freedom here. And, you know, I'm from Oklahoma. Like, I didn't travel that far, but I'm not leaving. You know, I'm glad I own property here. You know, and that's...
COVID was interesting, too, because for us, our son was born February 2020.
Oh, wow.
The lockdown started in March.
Oh, my God. Thank God it was before. Because some people didn't get to see their kids be born.
Yeah, no, we made that deadline, but we had weird stuff like when we took him to daycare, we weren't allowed to like go inside or anything like that. It was very strange, you know. We're like dropping him off with mask and just handing them to someone, where normally that would be like a huge drop-off moment where you get your pictures and do all this.
Yeah.
So our pictures are literally us in like the parking lot with our mask on. It's a very strange, like, you know, the further we get away from it, the more interesting those pictures are because it's like, what a sign of the times. But, you know, we... our background, I don't want to get into it too much, but our background professionally, we have knowledge about what's kind of going on in that field. And so when that first wave of COVID hit and we're seeing all these statistics of people like dying in Italy and stuff, it's like we were cautious, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like if everybody had the flu, a mask would help, you know, droplet transmission. Wearing a mask makes sense to me, and we'll do that, you know. And like, what's the harm? The risk versus reward, you know?
Yeah.
And so that whole first wave where you're seeing... like that was the nastiest part, and you're seeing people get hospitalized, and it's like, okay, wow, yeah, this is really serious.
This is happening.
And we have a newborn. We don't know how serious this is going to be for children yet. And it's a virus, so we don't know if there would be like latent effects 10 years later if our kid were to get COVID now. And it's like, oh my God, we got to be so careful. And but then it's like when you get to like year 2 and the waves aren't as bad and you're starting to learn about more and more propaganda, and it's like, hey, I was all on board that first wave. We were doing very common sense things. What is this crazy shit we're doing now? A third booster? What are you talking about? You know? And then you start learning more of the monetary gains behind it with Big Pharma. And it's like, since when have we been on the side of Big Pharma, assuming they know what's best for us, you know? And it's like, that's what kills me. That's why I would get so passionate about people like Bernie, where it appears, or even guys like Jon Stewart, it appears like these are people who want to do the right thing. And the people I'm dealing with right now, I don't know if they want to do the right thing. And and the fact that I can't tell, it's like,
There's your answer.
Yeah, it's like, you know, but the fact that you would even, because like we got I was required to get the first vaccine and the booster, you know, and it's like, it's like, it didn't cost me money. It's like, okay, you know what, it's fine. Risk versus reward. This seems okay. But now it's like, shit, did I need that booster? Like, this seems like that booster was sent out just because these companies could make a bunch of money, and I was required to get it because somebody lobbied to make these companies get it. That seems kind of fucking insane now, you know? And in hindsight, it's like, I wonder if I should have just claimed the religious exemption or something at that time. You know, I could have done that. I think I still would have got the first one because we had our baby and I was really nervous. But, like, I didn't get COVID until the, third wave when it was nothing, you know? And, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I don't know if I'm convinced that vaccine prevented me from getting it in that first round, or if it was just us being meticulous about, hey, we're going to avoid contact with people. We're going to wear masks while we're out. Like, I think those things were very good. Yeah. You know, and then just, you know, it's like, if you're a business and you don't want to do it, I guess that's your business. You know, like for a minute there, I was like, everyone needs to do this. And then again, hindsight, you're like, maybe everyone didn't need to do that. It's like, we felt more comfortable doing that. But it does make sense. If I'm vaccinated, you shouldn't be afraid of, like, I'm not going to get it, so what do I care if you get it, right? Yeah. You know, it's like, and isn't that what this country and freedom and blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's just like, you know, if you get the vaccine, then you're not spreading it,
Should
right?
Be good, right?
And, but then it doesn't really matter if anyone else is doing it.
But then they're finding out later that vaccine was not as good as what they were claiming it was. And it's like, oh, man, why is everything bullshit? You know?
And that's the only thing that really scared me about it was that it was quick.
Yeah.
Came out real quick.
Yeah.
And the level, because I waited quite a bit. I was feeling very anxious about it for some reason. And to be honest, I got my vaccine because I was being shamed so much socially. And I kind of hate myself for that being that, or hate that I made that decision based on that. Like, it should have been like, actually, this is like a tool that I can utilize with modern medicine. But really it was just like, my best friends and my family aren't talking to me because I'm doing this. Like, I'm seeing all this shame online, and it's just like, dude.
Yeah, and then that was probably the last big thing where I felt like I was all in on something.
Yeah, same.
And I think I'll never be that way ever again after that, because I really truly believed, like, okay, you wear these masks, you social distance, we shut down for a week or two. You know, the government's going to make sure everything's okay on this. We're going to do the right thing.
And I can trust.
Yeah. And then that was like the final, like the Bernie Sanders was a pivotal moment of like, I can't trust these people. And then the COVID was kind of the last part of like, I definitely can't trust these people. You know, like the things you find out about the people that are pushing it through, you're just like, oh my God. You know, like I said, I think that first wave, it was wise to do the recommendations.
Yes, of course.
But I think once the second and third came through and we realized it had gotten less severe and it wasn't that bad, it's like, okay, I think it's time to go back, you know, and it's time to be normal again.
Yeah.
And like, again, one of the things I love about Rogan is he talks about like, why haven't we put an emphasis on physical fitness in this country so that when a pandemic comes through, we are more able to deal with it as individuals because we're healthier. You know, it's like no one talked about that. Just how like right now it's like, hey, if you are having trouble with weight on a serious level and you need Ozempic, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
But could we also focus on healthy food in our country, physical fitness, giving people the opportunity so that they never even get that fat to begin with?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's easier to sell a drug and somebody can make billions and billions of dollars off of it. But if you bring that up, people are just like, oh, you're one of those?
Yeah.
You're one of those. It's like, I don't know, man. What's wrong with asking people to like go lift a weight and jog a little bit just for your health?
Literally.
I'm not saying you got to be a bodybuilder. Can we just try to be a little healthy? You know? And
well, and it's just like, I'll have to send it to you. I listened to this podcast had this doctor on as a guest, and he was talking about the importance of sunlight.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he will bring, he was just talking about all these situations to where all he did was bring a patient outside, and in a week, almost half of the symptoms are gone.
Well, I mean, vitamin D is really huge for a lot of things in your body.
Yeah.
And you can take supplements, right? But that's really the best way is if you can spend some time in sunlight. And it's like, look, I don't think sunlight's going to cure your cancer.
No.
But I think getting regular sunlight is probably very healthy for you. And who would deny that? Like, biologically, we evolved into, like, the reason you fall asleep at night, your circadian rhythm, all those things, it's because the sun sets and chemicals in your body decide to start putting you to sleep, and that's when you reset. And then if we were sleeping outside when the sun rises, new chemicals would come in and wake you up. So it's like, if you think about, we're living in homes and apartments with blinds and things like that, and those elements of our circadian rhythm are off, it's like you could see how maybe sunlight could help get your timing back. Help you get back to bed on time. Maybe someone who has a lot of sleep deprivation issues, it's like maybe if we got you up at 6 a.m., got you outside, and
you sweat your ass off for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's like maybe your body would start regulating some of your hormones and things better because if humans have been around as long as we think we have, and we all evolved on this 24-hour cycle of the sun and moon, it would stand to reason that like trying to stay close to that cycle might be pretty healthy for you.
Yeah.
Right? That like staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning is probably not going to be great for your health.
With a screen and all this stuff, like it all messes with you. And like I was fortunate. I grew up in a medical family. Dad was a physician, mom's a nurse.
Oh, yeah.
But my whole life, pharmaceuticals were last ditched efforts. Like I was very, very lucky to have a very holistic mom. And that's where I just like this immediate push for pharmaceuticals. That's what scares me, right? It's like, why don't we just have some natural things? And it's like, oh, wait, because our food isn't natural. Oh, wait, because of, this and that. And we're sick. We're a very sick society. Yeah. It's hard.
I have a good primary care doctor, she's great. And the reason I liked her is like when I saw her, it's like, okay, she's healthy. Like she looks like a fit person. Yeah. I really like that because I had other doctors where it's like, you look fucking worse than me. Yeah. I don't want your advice.
Why am I listening to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I respect that you made it through medical school and I think you're intelligent and you probably know what you're talking about, but I just want someone who's made better decisions than I have. And so she's that way. But even her, right? It's like, she's like, well, what do you think your issues are? And I was like, look, I put on weight. I need to lose weight. And she's like, oh, so do you want like Ozempic or something? I was like, no. I'm just saying that's a goal of mine. I was like, I know what I need to do. I need to watch my food and I need to work out, you know? And she's like, oh, okay. But it's like, that was it. I could have just got it right then, you know? And
you can get whatever you want.
I know. And it's like, man, that's crazy. Like, and I think she's good. And it was still that instinct because there's probably so many more of her patients where that's exactly what they're fishing for. It's like, yes, this is what I would like. Thank you.
So it's just like cut to the chase.
Yeah. And if she gives it to me, I'm going to think, oh, you're an amazing doctor. And if I ask for it and she doesn't, they're going to be like, she's a terrible doctor. Yeah. And really she's doing what's better for you. It's like, hey, have you thought about like a balanced diet, get some exercise? Why don't you try to get 8 hours of sleep? That'll help with your cortisol and help you lose weight, all the stuff. And I think she was relieved when I was like, no, I know what I'm supposed to do to not be a fat ass. I just need to get my shit together and do it. And she's like, okay, great.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, and so like this whole past year has just been like I was on some blood pressure medications. And it's like I went, I halved the doses and now I'm only taking one of them and that one's halved. And it's like here in a couple months, the goal is like, I don't want any more of that shit. You know? And all it was just sleeping better, eating a little better. There's still more weight that I want to lose. But like my blood pressure, all those things are back under control, and it was all the running I was doing. I was running marathons, and it's like it's amazing what running 4 times a week will do. And then when you combine that with like, oh, I'm going to try to eat a little bit better food. Mm-hmm. And so like the last little thing I have now, and I've been delaying it because we're renovating our kitchen. I'm like, oh, well, when the kitchen's done, I'll eat better. But that really is it. It's like the last bit is just like, okay, fat ass, you need to get your food together.
It's hard though when your kitchen's under construction.
Yeah, but you know, my kitchen has only been under construction for like a month or 2. And the problem started long before that. No, it's just like, don't get that candy bar. Don't buy that ice cream.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's like, you're an adult, you know this. And to, you know, but if you were to say that directly to another person, like, did you ever see the My 600 Pound Life show?
Yes.
There was an incredible doctor on there where one of them was like, I'm starving. And he's like, he doesn't even look up from his pad. He's like, you're definitely not starving. And it's like, I know that's for reality TV, but isn't that what people need to hear?
Yes.
It's like, hey, we don't need to be rude to you. We don't need to ruin your life, but maybe we should be telling people, you know, I think your life would improve if you got into better shape.
Yeah.
And if you want to do that, we got ways to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat.
If you don't want to do it, we understand, but it's detrimental. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I still believe it's America. If you truly want to be 600 pounds, go be 600 pounds.
Yeah.
All right? You have the freedom to do that. But if you don't want to be, let's do something about that.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's natural ways to do it, and there's pharmaceutical ways to do it, which way you want to go.
Yeah.
You know, because as an American, I should be able to pay for whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I would at least like to have the education.
Yeah.
You know? It's not just like an immediate, all right, antidepressant. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think I'm so happy that we I love the neighborhood we live in because it's like I'll be coming home from work and it's like half the neighborhood's walking a dog or
it's very
riding
active.
a bike. And it's like I like being around this group, these people I don't even know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am going to walk the dog. I'm going to take the long walk today, get a couple extra steps in, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me think a lot about those neighborhoods where it's like, man, what would happen in some neighborhoods if you just had like good sidewalks, a park right down the street where,
a lot.
It's like we live so close to White Rock Lake. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to my wife about it's such an amenity that you don't even think about, that you take for granted of like, yeah, we can just go to the lake and like go for a nice walk or take a bicycle down there or something. And it's like just having those little things available. Like the city of Dallas, thankfully, they've been investing a lot in all those trails, connecting all those trails. Those trails don't make money.
No.
But it does make money because it convinces people to move to that neighborhood. Like, oh, look at this great system of stuff. I can get extra. It's like you're attracting more people by having those types of things, and it's going to make this better community. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's a lot of it's like when you walk your dog every day and see 3 or 4 of your neighbors, even if you don't know their names, it's like when you wave, say hi, see them, you know, you're humanizing people so much that you're less likely to have a lot of confrontation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're so lucky we have like those block parties and stuff that do a couple times.
I need to go there. I haven't even been to one
and it's
yet.
like, what happened to building all these little communities like that? Like, no one at any of these...
We polarized ourselves.
Well, I've never been walking my dog and been like, are you a fucking conservative? Are you a liberal? Like, that's never happened. It's just been like, fucking hot, right? Crazy weather, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Normal stuff. And so many problems, I think, would be resolved if
people went outside more.
If you were just, like if you saw people in your community, I don't need you to be friends with them. I don't like being friends with everybody either.
Yeah.
But it's nice when they're humanized.
Yeah.
You know, like the woman who lives across the street from me, did you see the drama that was going on there? Something was going on between the 2 neighbors across the street. I think, you know, we have those front driveways, and I think their driveway, like when the driveway on the side of it ended and the lawn started, I think that was the neighbor's property line, like right there at the edge. And they had a big pickup, so I think when they were going in the driveway, the wheel was like on the grass and it would like break a sprinkler head or something. Mm-hmm. So they had confrontation for whatever reason. But both of these neighbors are people who, they've been there a couple years, and like I've never even so much as waved at either of them. I never see them.
Yeah.
They're never, like, I don't need to be friends, but I've just never seen them.
Yeah.
And they were having some feud. It got posted in the Lakewood Facebook group. And then...
I love drama from afar a little bit.
Well... The one neighbor put up a small little fence so their car wouldn't go across, but then they put a sign in their front yard that said, we had to put this fence up because our neighbors are terrible.
Oh my God.
And I will say, those 2 neighbors were like the least out and about, like they are not very known on this like block, and that's fine. You don't need to be known, but I just wonder if they had been just a little more cordial leading up to all that, like if they, hey, how's it going? Like maybe that could have been avoided. Like there would have been an open line of communication where they could have been like, hey, I think you're hitting my sprinkler head every now and then. Is there something we can do about this?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm doing that. Let me pay for that, please.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were doing that. And but what was crazy is the neighbor that the sign was about. I hadn't seen her for 2 years. I'd never met her. All of a sudden, I'm out like mowing the lawn. She's out with her dog, and she's like, "Hey, hi," and I was like, "Hey, hi? How are you? Do you new to the neighborhood?" And she's like, "No, I'm across the street." Like, oh, she's like, "I'm just on a little campaign. I don't want everyone thinking I'm horrible because that sign went up." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you." Never seen her again.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't need to, but it's like if you had done that more often,
Yeah.
I wonder if
genuinely.
I wonder if that would have been avoided, right?
Yeah.
And because look, I get it. Like I don't want to talk to everybody either, but. I don't know. There's like a little bit of like civic duty of just like, hey, hi, how are you? Okay, great. Have a good one.
Know your neighbors. It's good.
Yeah, and
And I don't have to like know my neighbors, but I gotta kind of know them. Like I like a nosy neighbor because then you kind of figure out if something's going on at your place. You know what I mean? But and so I'm always like trying to be on good terms with my neighbors.
Why
you know
not?
what I mean? Well, because you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. That's just what it is.
My driveway shares with my neighbor's driveway, and they're great neighbors. So it's like when I mow the lawn or something, and I've got like my leaf blower, it's like I'm just gonna go ahead and do this one too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like blow all my shit onto yours and then not, it's like let me just do it. And I'm not going to be like, well, I blew the leaves off your driveway.
Yeah.
If you could do something for me. It's like,
Yeah.
they're such chill neighbors that we never have any problems with. And I want to keep it that way.
Yeah. That's like a precious thing, right?
Yeah. We had the bad neighbors. I'm so scared to get new neighbors ever now.
Oh, is it a new open house right now?
No. I'm just saying if they ever left, I would be really terrified because they're just excellent neighbors that keep to themselves the right amount and interact the right amount. And it's just... it's like they have recreations that we don't care about at all. You know what I mean? And it's like, do your thing.
Yeah.
And they leave us alone when we have like construction projects or something that are probably annoying. You know? So it's I don't know. I'm glad we solved all these problems for the world.
Yeah, look at us.
Let me get you out of there. But no,
Dang, we went for a long time. That's
I didn't
great.
realize it was that long. But
That's okay.
Listen, I'm like so impressed with all the shows you're producing, and I'm so happy to see that not only you're producing the shows, but you're like wanting to take like a bigger step, even just with your own comedy too. So,
Well, I
best of
appreciate
luck.
Everything you do for the comedy community. You got a great podcast here,
thanks.
and you're super well respected, and you're always looking for ways to make the community better.
Trying
Yeah.
to put my money where my mouth is. We'll see what happens.
We're doing the Lord's work.
Thanks, Gretchen.
No problem.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.